Three, two, one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Airing Out Loud podcast live. I'm your host, Dustin Marion. And before I introduce my partner in crime, if you like it, like it. If you love it, please subscribe to it. We are trying to work on a custom handle here. Please, a custom URL, excuse me. Please follow us on all our handles. Without further ado, I want to introduce my partner in crime, Hollow Clutch. What's up, Hollow?
Good, bro. What's popping, man?
Not
Okay.
much, man. Chilling.
Trying
I'm kind
to
of like, what's up? Go ahead.
trying to survive this heat wave that we're in.
I know
New
that's
York.
what I was just gonna say. Like my life isn't great, but when it comes to weather, it's the same every day. You guys, so when did the heat start to come? Because it's not even the official day of summer yet, right?
Yeah, it has I think June 20th or 21st around there. I'll be in Puerto Rico when it's some
Nice.
officially hit, so it's probably gonna be fucking hotter over there.
I know. I
So,
wanted to go over there to Puerto Rico. I need some Shango. I need some blessings and some, some witchcraft, so that way I can get lucky and we can get this show to fucking blow up on the map. So it's crazy. Again, another week. I think last week we kind of melded in a little bit. We took off 2 weeks. We weren't hard in the paint doing our thing, but this week it doesn't let us down. 100 stories. I mean, it just goes. Whoever's in charge of big news
yeah.
outlets or media things, they just crushing. So this week, I don't know if you heard, but they've been trying to ban or put a ban on assault rifles. Right?
Mhm.
This gentleman comes out from California and tries to reverse how California has been handling the assault rifle ban. What do you think? Do you think we should be banning assault rifles? What should we? How should we be thinking about this? Because I feel like this is another heavy topic that has many layers. But this guy coming out and actually backing up. I don't know if you read the article, but he backs up saying that an AR-15 is just as good for the field as it is for home defense.
Yeah, because it's for right now. Assault rifles are banned. Fully automatic guns are already banned in the United States. An AR-15 doesn't stand for assault rifle.
Right, it's the name of the company, right?
Is the name of the company. So most mass shootings are done by handguns anyway. They're
Right.
not done,
That,
they're
that's
not
what I'm
done
saying.
by assault rifles,
Correct.
or shotguns or rifles. Um, this is just another thing that people like. It has to be broken down eloquently, and then broken down in a sense of just with numbers, and both sides have to look at it for what the numbers are, and take it with a grain of salt. So like the people who want to ban assault rifles just want to ban them because they have a fear of guns, as opposed to not having the data to support your your fear of a shooting happening. So like we've said many times, majority of a lot of shootings, period, happen in democratic cities with the strictest gun laws. So clearly, strict gun laws aren't working. The reverse is happening because people are still getting their hands on these weapons. What I always thought what needs to happen is just more education on behind guns, because then the thing that sucks too is that people who are against guns, they do sneaky shit to make guns seem bad. So they'll do things like majority of gun deaths are suicides. It's not its own category, and
They lump it all together.
exactly, and over 60% of gun deaths are suicide. So you talk about 40% are whatever, an armed robbery or somebody defending themselves or whatever. That's also clumped into its own thing. And then when you look deeper into the numbers, knives kill people more than guns do. Bats kill more people than thing. Hands and feet kill more people than guns do. So when you bring all these things to people who are against guns, they don't want to hear the other things. So my thing is like, all right, so if hands and feet kill more people than guns, do we just put boxing gloves on wherever we go, or do we put bubble wrap on our feet, or do we are people not plastic knives? That's it. That's only what people could use. Are only plastic knives. Um, I think it's always one sided. You know, the Second Amendment, I get it. People try to say, oh, it was for when it was guns were muskets and revolvers and 6 shooters or whatever, stuff like that. But like us having guns is just to make sure like the capital shit doesn't really happen everywhere, kind of thing. We have militias in the United States just in case the government tries to do some shit. Like Texas has a big veteran community. Like imagine telling veterans you can't have your guns, even if they served. Like it's to protect us from tyranny. And these guys who made the Constitution, the fact that they thought this far in advance, and the fact that this 200 year old piece of paper has kind of withstood the test of time, and it's like the best kind of government we've have almost in the world, and just people just find ways to fucking complain about it. So this government, trying to ban assault rifles is just a word that people just to make people feel safe. It's like just wearing a mask, even if you're vaccinated, to make somebody feel safe. It's kind of lunacy to me.
Well, I find it strange because I just don't understand this whole situation, right? Because first of all the guns are bought legally, especially some of the ones that happen in these mass shootings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guy buys it over the counter. There's also a lot of guns that are on the black market. So I feel like if you wanted to get something, you could get it regardless, right? And I don't even know. I know that they've tried. I know under Obama they tried a lot. There was a lot of gun violence under Obama. There has been gun violence up until the point till we had to deal with COVID. Everybody kind of took a breather. But I just feel like this is something that, again, I'll agree with you on this. We need more education. I think that now with a gun, I've said this before, a gun should be looked at as like a fire extinguisher. You should know how to use a gun. You should know how to use a fire extinguisher. You should know how to pull out a pin, press the button, it puts out the fire. You should know how to unload a magazine, load a magazine, all these kind of things. I don't know why we have such a big fear. Obviously, we have the NRA, and they push their agenda. And I heard an alarming statistic. There's like in the world, or it might be just in the United States, but there's like 10 guns per person. Like there's so many guns out there that, it just doesn't even make sense. Like, obviously, like you said, the shootings that happen are happening in democratically ran cities with strong gun laws. The strong gun laws are not working. People are still getting guns. And again, it's a lot of handgun movement, right? Like there's been shootings that guys have assault rifles in the car, but that's not what they start the shooting with, right? Like they get all the assault rifles and shit.
Yep.
And then they end up doing shit with just a handgun. I mean, I put this in our notes. I thought that the thing that really started getting everything going was that shooting. I believe that it was in 2016 in Florida, where that guy almost shot and killed like 100 people. Now, do you think this, instead of us looking at stricter gun laws, adding or spending more tax dollars, money on having, legislation put into position, or having more, events in the jury, or should we start to look at more at mental health in this country? Is that something that we should be putting our time into, and not so much into the guns? Because I think I forgot what movie I was just watching with Chris Rock, but it was like, or Chris Tucker, he was like, guns don't kill people. Stupid motherfuckers with guns kill people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I agree to that. I think what we need to do is definitely look into mental health. Mental health is a big thing. I also think an underlying thing is mostly white men, and mostly white men who can't get pussy. So we need to legalize prostitution.
I've been said that shit.
Like it's legal.
It doesn't even make any sense because porn is legal, and it's the same thing.
Exactly, and I think it's legal in Nevada. If I'm not mistaken.
And it's not even legal. It's not legal in the city limits of Vegas. It's just legal in the state of Nevada.
Yeah.
So when you go into Vegas, you can't solicit, because if you do, you're in trouble. Which doesn't make any sense either. That it's legal in the state and not legal in the city of Vegas.
The city, it's a weird thing. But that's another underlying issue. Like you got a lot of these men, who can't have no game, and just are frustrated with life, or they have some type of message. They just want to be seen and heard. I think for the most part, like we're kind of like under control in a sense of most people have a community to go to. You know, like if you are anything, if you are like you have a Batman shirt on, there's a Batman community on Reddit, YouTube, you know, forum, stuff like that. So like most people kind of dive into the only reason why mass shootings get so crazy is because they really happen, and when it really happens, it's like, oh shit, you know, a big thing happened, you know, like, and then if it happens like within a month of each other, it seems like crazy. What the fuck? This shit keeps falling. My fault, bro.
It's
It's
okay. Don't worry about it.
it's similar
Yeah, no, I
similar
feel you.
yeah, it's similar to how it's like if a plane crash. Plane crashes don't happen. Like I think 150
Not as
people.
many. Not as many. Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think 150 people, almost 200 people die a year from plane crashes.
It's
But
like
when
the
it-
least.
It's the safest way to travel is by airplane. But like, and then you got those people who are afraid of flying.
Right.
But it's the safest way to travel.
Right.
So it's just a weird space we're in, and I hope
It
people.
doesn't help. I think it doesn't help that the media comes in here and fucking like blasts everything every day, right? Then also I think another thing that has a little bit of a gray matter is the word mass shooting. And I'm not trying to, you know me, I'm always on the favor of the side of the little guy, but mass shooting could be 3 people.
Yeah,
And they throw that around the world.
yeah.
I think it's 3 to 4 that qualifies it as a mass shooting. But if there's 4 or 5 people shot in every little place, then here comes, you know, the I would say the left media trying to push the agenda of saying, hey, we need stronger gun laws. Hey, we need to get guns out of people's hands. Hey, you know, this or that. And no one's really talking about, hey, you know, we just supposedly just spent $1 trillion, you know, $2 trillion on infrastructure. But what if that infrastructure was for medical? What if that infrastructure was for, you know, looking at homeless, looking at drug abuse, looking at all of these things that could potentially, you know, lend itself for reasons why you want to go ballistic, right?
And
it
legalize drug use. We need to.
Bro, listen, I said it'd be the 3 things I would do automatically if I was the president: legalize prostitution, legalize all drugs, and legalize sports gambling, because they're all ways of making money. And the country right now, I mean, this is another thing, and we're gonna switch gears here in a second. I don't know what you guys have heard, but every state that I talk to now all of a sudden has a surplus of money. I don't know if you've noticed that. California is like at 30 million or something ridiculous. A couple of other states. So it's like, what are you guys going to go do with that money? Right? You guys are all banging on your chest talking about, let's do this, let's do that. To be honest with you, I think we shouldn't ban assault rifles. I think we should take the ban completely off. If I need an assault, if I want, first of all, this is the thing. Forget about the freedom and all this other bullshit, right? Because everybody gets all fucking clouded with this. But if it says you have the right to bear arms, then reading it with tea leaves or reading into it back 100 years ago doesn't make any fucking sense. It's still legal. It's still a law. It doesn't say nowhere in there that you can't have, and I get it. They didn't have those weapons available at that time. But there's no restriction on that. And there's crazy stories. I just seen a story about, you know, a family that was trying to, you know, hold back home invaders with an AR-15. Yep. So it's like, I don't know. I
have a lot of those stories that they say it's anywhere between 600,000 to 3 million. Lives are saved a year with somebody who has a gun, because then you have a lot of those guys who it goes unreported, where let's say if you were in a parking lot and you pulled your gun out to stop them from robbing you or trying to kidnap you. I've seen a couple of videos of women who were about to get kidnapped and they pulled out their gun so they didn't get kidnapped. So like, also I always think of it as, if people are complaining about guns, right? All the states that it's legal in, why aren't there the numbers of shootings way up? Why isn't it like drastically? Why isn't it not fucking Armageddon, Mad Max style?
Because they know.
Exactly. Because if I have a gun,
you're gonna get fucked up.
Because if I have a gun and 25 people in the same area have a gun, I'm going down in an instant.
Bro, that was one of the things, and I don't know if you felt it when you were there in Texas. They post that shit everywhere, like, motherfuckers, I'm carrying.
Yep.
And crime is low. Shit don't pop off like that. I mean, I'm sure that, you know, we gotta look at this more from area to area. But overall, a motherfucker knows that if he acts up, there's a chance of some other guy acting up too, to protect the community or the people that are around him or whatever the case might be.
That's what happened with the shooting in the church, and I think it was South Carolina, North Carolina, somewhere, where the guy shot one person and the whole church had a gun and they took him down within minutes, within seconds. They took on the gun. So more people didn't die. I think one person got shot. but they killed the guy who was trying to do the mass shooting because everybody was holding. But that's why people don't test you in these places because, like, all right, if I try to get into some altercation, this guy has a gun. No matter what size you are, what kind of person you are, a gun makes everything on an equal playing field. So if you have a woman who's 110 pounds and a guy who's 280, it's the same playing field if you have a gun. And
she might even have an advantage if you don't have a gun.
Exactly. And but the people just wanted just to ban things just because. And that can't be that. Like I was watching somebody who was saying something. It was like people in America don't really understand how free they are, that they're so free that they're bored that they're looking for things to be oppressed by.
I agree. I say it all the time. This COVID shit was the first time Americans got a true understanding of what it was like to live in a third world country. Right?
Exactly. And not even
to have money. Right, we weren't even there yet. That was the closest. And we still were good because we still had hot water. We still had running light. Right, like shit that's not even in fucking like in DR where the lights go out.
Exactly. You know what I mean? The lights go out once a week in DR. Like people don't get that. People don't understand that some people in third world countries that they turn their faucet on and there's no water. Fuck
yeah, there's nothing coming out there. Don't worry about it. We like it. It's like we're in the club. We're at the club. That's what happens when you keep moving it. You're so sexy on your streaming from the side view. I know you like that side profile. We need that front profile, Daddy. Full frontal profile.
But yeah, like like it just showed how when the pandemic hit, what was a shortage? Toilet paper. Like people weren't even worried about food. People were worried about wiping their ass. Like that's like the least thing to worry about when
for sure.
It's about to be a supposedly a virus at the time. What the way the media was making it seem, the way the world was reacting to it, you would have thought it was Armageddon.
That's what they sold it as.
Exactly. And people ran to the supermarkets to buy toilet paper. And that was like the weirdest thing to me. And nobody
that's because this is the thing too, and I was going to mention this with the gun thing. A lot of the stuff that we have in place now has come out from the 90s. Right? We're a different culture. The same way you could say that when, the Constitution was written, in 1776, I believe. That might have been the Declaration of Independence. I'm not 100% sure on these numbers. I mean, now these years and dates, but a long fucking time ago, we got to take things in that are relevant. Mm-hmm. A lot of kids got killed in the 90s because their parents didn't lock up guns. I think that was like a narrative that got pushed heavy.
And that helps. And then, that helps. Fuck you. And that that fucking thing is pissing me off. All right, hold on.
Yeah, do your thing. I'll fill up the time. So, in the 90s, there was a lot of shootings, and I think like they tried stuff, but now we got it to a place where I just don't think banning assault rifles, banning semi-automatic weapons, that's not really gonna, I don't think, do much sense of trying to manage stuff. What do you got? You okay there now? You like that?
I just put it on the screen.
There you go. Okay, boom.
Keep rolling. Everybody know what.
Oh, that was thank you, Amazon, made in China. For $5.99. It only works.
And talking about that real quick, I want to touch on that real quick. You bringing up Amazon, right? So people were complaining how like Bezos is a piece of shit, and how like
I got a news story for that too, by the way.
You got all these companies making billions and billions of dollars, and people aren't upset that we let him, in a sense, quadruple whatever the money he made, because people were like, all right, this is convenient. I could press a button on my phone and I'm good. Like I could keep my day going. I could order groceries right to my door. I could order whatever essentials straight to my door. I don't have to go outside. So like you can't kill the guy and the company, but then you were massively benefiting from it. A lot of people were massively benefiting from Amazon and the 2-day delivery, or even if it's like 5 days during the height of the pandemic, which was still faster than anybody else or any other company. So it was an interesting thing that I was thinking about, how we complain about these guys not paying taxes, but we're giving them the outs to not pay these taxes because they're playing the game.
I agree. I've said this a lot. I mean, it's gonna happen again. Juneteenth is coming up. I believe that is the
Prime Day.
No,
right?
fuck that Juneteenth.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's the same one. But I'm saying Juneteenth meaning, I believe if I'm not mistaken, the day that happened that Black Wall Street occurred, and we don't realize that we have a lot of buying power, and that was one of the things on Juneteenth that they were trying to push, and I think we should push that agenda more. The best way to strike is not to buy, right? Fucking don't buy shit. Don't buy nobody's shit, right? Sit on all the bread. I mean, if you think about it, if we just paid our bills and didn't get crazy, people would be sitting on massive stacks right now.
Of course.
But they weren't, you know, and obviously some people could and some people couldn't. But, you know, I never get mad at the players. I get mad at the game. It's not his fault that the whole entire institution is built for you to have an LLC and write off losses, pretty much. You know what I mean? And, you know, lucky for him that he was in the, you know, timing is a huge thing when it comes to success. And he was at the right place at the right time. You know, in the beginning when that thing happened, no one gave a flying fuck that he was reselling books. But when one of the best things that he did was basically steal eBay's, you know, kind of thing, because Amazon doesn't sell you anything. I don't know if anybody knows that. It's other people that sell through
Amazon, yeah.
Right?
And some Amazon, they take some like Amazon Basics, the company.
Right. That's their shit. Yeah. But pretty much it's fulfilled by people.
Yep.
You know, and everybody's, you know, it's an involved community. So I mean, listen, it's a great platform. I'm not trying to knock on them. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know. I'm more alarmed. You know, these guys are just doing all types of crazy stuff. We'll get back to this Bezos thing because I got something that I wanted to add on to that. But overall, for me, you know, there's a lot of data out there that basically goes against why massive shootings really don't have anything to do with assault rifles. We need to start really like hammering this thing. It really seems like a Democratic and a Republican issue because the Republicans want everybody to have guns and the Democrats don't want anybody to have guns. I think to me, when it comes to, you know, home security, a handgun ain't gonna do jack shit for me, right?
True.
And a shotgun, maybe. Everybody's like, yeah, you just get a shotgun. I'm like, motherfucker, that shit don't work like that. Once you slide that thing back or you pump that shit again, that's another opportunity for them to go. I want to treat that shit like Call of Duty, bro. Banana magazines and just fucking hit one off and until the police come or something. You know what I mean? Like 4 or 5 guys come in your crib, you got to cock one thing back. That might be it. That might be the one that takes you down. So out of all of the, you know, huge news stories, this one seems like the simplest. Right?
It's to figure out, yeah. I agree,
bro.
And
people, if you haven't committed a crime, you should be able to get a gun. But if you are buying guns at an alarming rate, there should be some kind of better version of, you know, whether it's an infrastructure or something tied into medical, where it's like, hey, this guy was, you know, we got to figure out a way to mark people, saying like, okay, this guy was not mentally stable. You know, we'll check back with him in 3 or 5 years. If you want to get a gun and you're not mentally stable, you got to get it like, you know, a written letter, let's say from your physician or something, saying that you come along or whatever the case might be. Because I think that, you know, and the thing is too, it's hard. In the major cities, it's easy. I feel like in Kansas or in Denver, it's got to be easier to get a gun than it is in New York City or get a gun in California, right?
In some places, like Walmart, you could walk in and buy a shotgun.
Yes.
And leave.
All you got to do is show that
the
state
or a rifle or whatever.
Yes.
Like a hunting rifle. So
I don't know. We'll get back to this. We're getting back in our groove. This is a jam-packed show today. We have a lot of different things to cover. This is another news story that kind of has been bubbling up for me. I didn't even realize that it was a thing. I seen it, and then I was like, what's happening? So now pitchers are using foreign substances to pitch. We'll start with that. Obviously, this should be looked at, right? Or it shouldn't be looked at. What do you think? You think this is something that, because I got a lot of different people's points of view on this, because Pete Alonso came out and said that he doesn't really care because if you get hit in the face with a fastball, it'd be better to use whatever you got to grip the ball. So he's okay with it from a player perspective. I wanted to hear, you know, us as fans, what do we think about it?
To me, all of it should be legal. Like, no matter what you use, it still doesn't make you a great player. It might make a great player better, and it might make a good player great. But if you a bum, nothing helps you.
No problem. So let's get those, since those fools don't count. Let's slide them out.
There's a lot of those guys. There's a lot. That's what I'm saying. But like, like if you think about it, right, of all the pictures,
It's true though. It's true. It's a lot. I watch pitchers get yoked every day.
That's what I'm saying.
They get punked. I'm like, damn, Daddy, you just gave up 16 runs.
That's what I'm
in
saying.
The fourth inning.
Exactly. So like, let's say if it's say that super high subset. So you got let's just throw out names. You got Garrett Cole. You got Yu Darvish. You got Clayton Kershaw. I'm just throwing names out there.
Let's throw Ohtani in there now too.
Ohtani. Let's throw.
We'll throw the kid from down in the Nationals. Either one. The guy with two different island colors.
Yep.
Or
so that's what 8 guys.
Maybe.
Let's say
let's be generous. We could be generous, right?
Let's say 50. Let's say 50 pitchers.
That's too generous. No, 32. That's it. All the starting pitchers, all the number 1 guys. That's it. After that, it's a fucking cliff.
Exactly. So, what that doesn't to me doesn't mean anything. It's like somebody taking steroids. That doesn't make sure you're gonna hit home runs or make sure you're gonna be in contact with the ball.
You already have to have skills in place to increase.
Correct.
You can't go from mediocre to phenomenal.
And I feel like another thing that's kind of messing it up is that these fucking umpires are just
what is going on?
The worst thing in the entire planet. They're not helping their case for it to be electronic. They're not helping their case.
But the thing is, this is the problem too, bro. And I think you and I, and this is I'm excited because we're about to get hot right now. I feel like you and I are the only people on this side of the aisle. Everybody else is about this leaving the game untouched. It's perfect the way it is. The human element, all the unspoken rules, the no celebration. That shit is killing the sport. It's killing the sport, and you're like, yeah, this is great. It's fucking awesome. Bro, viewership is down. You sell your package for like $100 so nobody fucking cares. You gotta give away the package.
Yep. And the average demographic is 54, 55 years old.
Right. Come on.
That's not a good thing.
I mean, we can literally compound how many things are wrong with baseball. It's at least 5.
Yep. And then what happens is too, let's say if I'm a baseball player, right? And I could be batting, let's say 300.
Okay.
And my incentives for that season is I bat 300, 10 home runs, 90 RBIs, and I get paid, let's say $35 million. That's my incentives to hit that goal. Now, if you call a strikeout on me, let's say the last series of the thing, I get 5 strikeouts. And out of the 5, 3 of them are bullshit where the fucking ball is in the other batter's box. You cost me money. Because when people just look at raw numbers, it doesn't say, hey, he struck out with the ball in the batter's box of the other guy, or the ball out too high, or the ball in the dirt. Called a strike.
They don't even have those numbers, right, to even further analyze players, right? Because that's a lot of home runs left, a lot of runs left on the board. Like, you're literally, that's why I spoke, shout out to Manny. I don't know if he's on right now, but I talked to him and he still doesn't fucking agree. I'm like, bro, the human element would be dope if it's right.
Exactly.
It's not right. It's not getting right. And it's crazy when I see it, bro. Like, I'll literally see, let's say, a slider to the outside. It's a righty batter, right? Righty?
Yeah.
Righty. No. Let's go lefty because they love this call all the time. Lefty batter, slider away, fastball away. If it's anywhere near, it's a strike.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that.
That same player, that same zone or somewhere else is a ball. I'm like, bro, how the fuck did you do that?
Or
look, these guys are professionals, okay? All they do is watch balls and strikes. How many times you see batters just look back at that homeboy like, my man, he totally blew that call.
Yep.
You seen it just happened to the Padres the other day. The kid got pissed, slammed his bat on the ground. He got tossed.
Exactly.
You can't show no emotion in baseball now, too.
That's another thing that I've been watching from afar is you have a lot of these umpires throwing baseball players out of the game. Stop throwing these players out of the game. Like, even if they show you up, like, baseball players are not going to show you up if the call is right.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. They're perfect, bro. They literally have tablets that they're watching pitch after pitch after pitch after. This guy knows. He might know more than you.
Exactly.
He might know more than you. He swings at the shit. You're just looking behind another guy and another guy to see where the shit is going to land.
Another thing that irks me is when the catcher catches the ball outside and then puts it like what? Like, and then the umpire gets fooled by that
all the time.
And then,
that's my favorite call.
And then
and then it's like, ugh. Oh, they like that one.
And then another thing that was annoying is when they go to replay, they spend 5 minutes and they get it wrong.
Bro, first of all, I don't know how no one is bitching about this. How do you go to replay and still get it wrong? And to fucking just drool a second, the NFL, people just need to start copying what these guys are doing. Because they got it dialed. Dialed. I don't give a fuck that the games go 3 hours and 50 minutes. They got it dialed. When they go under the hood, they come up with the right answer. When these idiots gather together, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if we need to start finding them. I don't even know if that's in place. I don't even know if you get bad calls. Do you not get because it's so weird. It's like umpires, we know nothing about them. We don't know if they get.
Supposedly, there's a grading system that they have.
Right, I get all that.
I feel like
they're getting fined if they blow calls.
I don't think so.
Hell no. Right? Are they losing games? Because, I love it now. Now it's like, well, this umpire has a huge strike zone. Bullshit. I'm like, bro, so...
Because the thing is that you cost people money. You cost people jobs. Let's say for whatever instance, let's say, a manager's on the hot seat. And that call changes the entire outcome for that manager's career.
Bro, momentum is real in sports. Mm-hmm. You could lose that one game in a 4-game set and get swept because all of a sudden everybody's state of mind changes like, oh, fuck, we suck. And then the other team gets hot and they were in the dungeon. It could have been a game that it was, 0-5. All of a sudden they got bases loaded. They hit a home run that dinged somewhere else where it was supposed to dang somewhere else. They called that the home run. Now it changes everything. Now everybody's all mad and they can't get through it. Same thing with, this is the problem. There's too much of an old style thinking in baseball.
Yep.
I even said it to a friend of mine. He said, no. I said, make DHs. Both. That's it. The guy can't hit. The pitcher can't hit. The pitcher can't even fucking run. It's another thing. So now I'm in the National League. I got 2 outs, 2 men on the corners, and my pitcher's got to come to bat? That's an automatic out.
Exactly.
That's an automatic out. Don't fucking tell me I love this argument. Well, the pitcher, he gets paid a lot of money. But that's not the case. That's not the case. Not everybody's Tani. Yep. That's not the case. That's in other countries. In this country, the moment they know you could throw 90 miles an hour, you don't ever touch a bat ever again. You know what I mean? You don't ever fucking run bases.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And to get back to our original the topic at hand with the
tar. It's called a spider tackle.
I'm with it.
Spider tack. Excuse me.
And I'm with it. I'm fine. I'm fine with them using it. I think I was also thinking about this too, where we think about everything. If we think about anything that we put into our body, is that cheating? Period.
Right. That's another thing too. I don't even know how you really with that whole thing, right? So let's say is a protein shake fucking a banned substance because a protein shake might have fucking some
gives you hand-eye coordination or gives
it's got
you
ginkgo
something.
biloba. So now is ginkgo biloba because it gets me more in the zone. Is that either a banned substance or performance enhancing substance?
Exactly.
Right? So it's what am I gonna be fucking like Rocky here, just fucking chugging down egg yolks? Right, because it's changed. Things have changed.
Anything. Let's see if you change your diet, the way you eat.
Yes. Look at Cam Newton. Cam Newton is a fucking animal, goes vegan, and something happened to him.
Exactly.
Something happened to him.
Now
he play the same way.
Now it should it be illegal that he went plant-based? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What is it? Should it be illegal people drinking Gatorade because it gives you electrolytes in the middle of a game?
That's what I'm saying. Where do you stop? Bro, fucking Viagra is illegal. Because Viagra you could use to work out and shit. Because it gets you, hyped and amped.
But that's like taking a creatine or taking a pre-workout.
Yes, Android. Was it Android? Android was sold over the counter. When you're calling it a bad substance, anybody could, fucking remember Ray Lewis with deer antler, right? And fucking, now they got all this shit. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think that Pete Alonso first of all, mad kudos to the Mets. Because once Pilar fucking took that fucking baseball to the face, it just showed that a lot of those players have a lot of moxie. Even though their team is not good, they got some solid guys on that team. And Pete Alonso, I side with him. You get hit in the face with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, bro. We talked about it last week. Fucking tempo somewhere crazy. You might not die, but you might be in a lot of fucking trouble. Look it, if they could use tack or whatever, bro. I've seen balls now just flying out of fools' hands.
Yep.
And it could be that maybe before they were only throwing 86, but if you could throw 101, we see it every time the Yankees close. Bro, that guy will go 101, 100, 101, 100, back to back to back. That's crazy.
Who
missed that? You know what I'm saying?
And I don't understand the the whole notion of not wanting to improve the game of baseball
That's what I don't get.
or any game. So like even in basketball, I think they should extend the sides of the court. It should be more like more space on the corner 3-pointers. I think since the athletes are 6'8", 6'9", everybody's shooting.
You got a fucking small little road for them.
Exactly. So I think that the game should evolve, in that aspect of it. That's something that could be looked into. But baseball overall needs to be looked into. Like baseball is laughed at. It's like literally laughed at. Like, and for whatever reason, people want to hold on and cling on to this thing that's not.
Yeah, it's a nostalgic feeling. Listen, I love these guys too. I love Mickey Mantle and I love Babe Ruth. And I love, I'm going to keep naming Yankees, but, Yogi Berra, and because I don't really know some of the other guys, but even Hank Aaron and Pete Rose, those were great times, but we're not in those times anymore. Exactly. We're just not there anymore. And then we need to move forward.
And then you got somebody who, like a Pete Rose, who was a beast, who was always on base, high batting average, always got hits, and then you do some dickhead shit and don't want to even put him in the Hall of Fame. Like, just because you on some old get off my lawn or get off my porch thing, that we shouldn't be have that anymore. Like, the fact that your demographics 50 plus should be fucking alarming.
I was just trying to explain this to a friend of mine. He still doesn't get it because he's fucking reaching the 50 plus area. Yeah. I'm like, bro, the millennials don't care about this sport. What's going to happen?
You have
20 years, that's when it's going to be dead. No one's going to want to play it.
You got the NBA. That doesn't even get that many ratings. NFL is still king because it's NFL is once a week, right. And then you got NCAA football. But then there's so many other things to watch. That's fast paced. Basketball is fast paced. NFL's relatively fast paced. Then, not to even put it, you have gaming. Gaming. I don't know if you noticed this. Sports Illustrated, just the cover is all gamers.
Wow.
I know this. Bronny and Kyler Murray.
Bro, all my guys. In Vegas and all of my bookie friends, bro, during COVID, someone was playing Madden simulations and people were betting on that.
Yeah,
they were betting on that.
That's the next thing where that attention is gone too. Like, yes, you have to. Right. All right, should I watch this baseball game where it's gonna be boring as fuck, or I could go watch somebody play Call of Duty, or I could watch somebody. I could watch any of the platforms on Amazon. Video, Netflix, fucking YouTube, whatever, Twitch, anything but this, because it's not a fun thing to watch or to even attend. Like, attendance is down across the board when it comes to even baseball, and
boring, bro. It's boring.
It is, and then like
figure out a way to do more things. I mean, there's so many things. I was reading the article, talked about whether or not they juiced or did juice the balls. Fucking, if you're giving these guys fucking whatever, the slick or the pine tar or the spider tackle, bro, do everything. To me, and this is going to sound crazy, offense is what sells the product.
Yep.
Whatever you could do to provide more offense. I think somebody would watch an 11-11 game or an 11-12 game that went to extra innings if it was just fucking offense the whole time. 5 runs an inning, 5 runs. People, it didn't even feel, when they're scoring, the game feels like it moves faster.
And then you got some people who enjoy a pitcher who's dealing. But they don't. I'm saying, but if the pitcher is dealing like 12, 13, 14 strikeouts.
Yeah, it's smoking full.
That's dope. But when you got a guy 3 strikeouts, he pitches all the way to the 4th inning, and then you take him out, and then you bring some other guy in for 3 innings, then you take him out, then you bring some other guys for 1 inning, then you take him out, then bring somebody else for another inning. Like, that isn't like an enjoyable experience. It's just like the issue that they were having in basketball when they were doing the Shaq and the Hack-a-Shack. Or hack up whoever, where they were shooting bad free throws. It was bad eyes in the game. So they try to get rid of that, that thing part of the game. So like it's not a big thing in with NBA teams now, because it's a bad product to watch. Nobody wants to see somebody go to the fucking free throw line 25 times and only make 3 of them.
That's not what I watch. No one's watching ESPN highlights for motherfuckers missing or making free throw shots.
Exactly. That's why nobody watches the WNBA.
No,
because it's not exciting.
That's right. We watch like our favorite movie. You gotta dunk that shit.
That's it.
Right? That's what people fucking want to watch.
So I'm with Pete Alonso, and let these guys just fucking play the game. Let them take whatever the fuck they want. You already got these guys fucking taking protein bars and fucking doing hot yogas and sleeping in tanks and icing and all the shit that literally helps your body and be ready to play. So who's to say why do you get to pick and choose what's illegal and what's not illegal? Because all that shit is enhancing, all of it. What if batting simulations? What if you're playing against computer? Is that cheating? Because you're doing simulations to get the computer? You taking a lot of mental reps? Is that cheating? But you're never gonna come to a common ground.
I feel like in baseball, there's a lot of chiefs and not enough. You got like the owners who want to do one thing. You got the union and baseball overall doing another thing. And it seems like the players are not on the page with a lot of this shit because they keep on coming out and keep on saying things. Everybody supported that guy when he hit that home run. They're like, we're not done yet. The White Sox guy, all over Twitter, all of his teammates are like, bro, are we done? We're not done, so we keep hitting runs.
Exactly.
Right, but again, this whole old school mentality of how baseball's supposed to look and supposed to feel and supposed to behave, I get all of that, but I don't think baseball's gonna survive being true to its core. And
then you got a lot of these old school fans, right, who don't look into how these guys get paid at the end of the year. You know how like that in fucking disrespectful that is. Let's say, all right, since we already know Tatis got paid, but for let's say whatever instance, Tatis comes in and he's like, all right, listen, Tatis, you batted 285, you hit 35 home runs, 100 RBIs, but hey, man, you wasn't batting 300. You didn't hit 40 home runs. You didn't hit 120 RBIs. So we can't pay you what you think you should be getting paid. Because you if we up 10 zip, you want me to fucking bunt? That affects me getting paid at the end of the year. Arbitration. Because then your bitch ass is going to come to the table and say, hey, listen, you only hit 9 home runs this year. You only batted 260 and you only hit 70 RBIs. But wait a minute, hold on. Manager told me we're up 12 zip, I have to bunt. Or I have to hit a single. Or I have to hit a pop-up. Just to be elegant for the game. So are we going to take that in consideration? And are you still going to give me my money? We can't. And then what's the fucked up part is arbitration. So the player and the guy make their case, and then you have the team make their case, and you have the arbitrator says, well, the team has a point here, or well, the player has a point here. So like, what is it? Which one is it? You can't have it both ways, old school fans. You can't say you can't hit something up to bases loaded, no outs, 5 zip, and you can't swing for a grand slam. Because then your favorite player or any of your players on your team doesn't get paid because at the end of the year, the numbers don't reflect that. Because I guarantee you when they go into talk about numbers, they don't say, well, the manager said don't swing on 2-0 pitches with man on second. It just shows what you produced at the end of the year. So enough with this bullshit. Let these guys fucking play. Score 1,000 runs if you can a game and work from there. And if the guys who are getting smoked, they can't cut it, you send them back to the minor leagues and you bring somebody else up. Enough of this fucking project shit and arbitration shit. Look at Airin Judge. He's about to be 30. And he still hasn't got paid a big contract. Why? Because every year is always some shit.
That's some fucked up shit. The MLB's got to really want to get Josh on, see what he thinks about this whole thing. Baseball, I just don't understand. I think baseball was more fun in the 90s. They let everybody do all this stuff, and then their secret came out, and now that they're trying to because again, cheating, right? And we'll dip out on this. Pros, they're still gonna make the Hall of Fame on that right? Got all the cheaters that were hitting bombs off of juice in the 90s, early 2000s. Now we got guys fucking cheating with I don't even know how to say it, but enhanced balls that are slick or whatever. You got Barry Bonds with all these guys with barbiturates and amphetamines because the fucking season's too long and this and that. Bro, you guys got a really good opportunity. Like, I feel like they should figure something out, right? Maybe make a tournament. Maybe make the World Classic every year. That way there's baseball. Play less games and figure something else out.
Yep.
I saw somebody the other day charge more for jerseys and fucking make less games.
Oh,
obviously the NFL has told you the fucking hack, like you like to say all the time. When you're being deprived of something, you want more of it. And the fact that there's 160 something games, no one cares.
Nobody cares.
Everybody could wait after the break. Not even teams care.
Nope.
I get about this argument all the time with some friends of mine. The Yankees, they know they don't have to play until after the break. They just know that.
A lot of
We'll
teams.
shit together.
A lot of good
Right.
teams.
Right. They're like, don't fuck all this bullshit. We'll play less than 500. Everybody will chill. We'll work out all our injuries. Once the break comes on, we turn the fucking engine on. We start scoring 20 a game, and that's it.
That's what happens with a lot of like the bad teams. They come out hard in the paint.
Right.
They're winning a lot of games, and then once
yeah.
July comes, done.
That's what I'm worried about, and we're gonna get into it in a second. I'm worried about the pods, right? Like you can't. It's almost weird. You can't blossom too early in baseball because it's such a long season. But we'll get back to this because I know baseball's gonna always give us a reason and something to argue about why this shit is whack. We gotta get Manny in here because he's like the fucking. The end all be all about MLB, even though he fucking just watches Sox. But we won't kill him too much. All right, it's time to do news or no news. Are you ready, bro?
Yep.
All right. So the first one on it is apparently there's information being leaked out now that COVID was by accident on purpose somehow released from the Wuhan lab. News or no news?
It's gigantic news. It's news in the sense of. We've known this information for the longest time. Like, it's just coming out now because of Fauci's emails. That's the only reason why. Like, back in 2014, Obama was like, whoa, gain of function research, chill, cut this. In 2014, Obama. And then under Trump, when all the thing was getting crazy, they opened it back up. And everything came out. But, and so they do a real investigation. Because their first investigation was only a 2-hour thing. They went, yo, did you guys leak it? Nah. Okay, cool.
Man, that's terrible.
And then came back and said, oh, yeah, they didn't do nothing. Nothing happened here. And then it comes out. And then you have, the thing is that pissed me off too is that the reason was, and it's gigantic news again, to reiterate it, is that you had a lot of evolutionary biologists come out and say, hey, listen, this virus has a lot of signatures of being manipulated in the lab. A lot. Even certain health officials. So like, I don't get it how people don't, like, scientists don't want the world to end. So they're going to do whatever they can, any information, to make sure people don't die.
But yo, that's a Republican motherfucking talking point in my opinion, because they fucking love to like make it seem like science is not.
No, for sure. But what I'm saying is, scientists. I'm saying scientists in general.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're not here to
some
lie.
Some of them, yeah.
No, like scientists, their whole shit is about getting shit right.
Yeah.
Right? Like they hypothesize, they study, they look at it. But when it comes to like certain media outlets or overall, it's like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They only spent 40 years in the field.
Yep.
And they don't know nothing. They're making up stories.
And it's like I said, and it sucks because like even we talked about it a little bit last week, and it's like I had this information, and I'm not even a scientist, or I'm not even a health official. I'm not Dr. Fauci. Nothing. I could read information on a screen by people who are professionals in their area, and when you have an overwhelming majority of health professionals are saying this one thing, why is it that we can't just use our common sense and make a smart decision? We do that in our everyday lives, and it's crazy. I mean,
to me, I say it's definitely news, right? But again, I'm going to say it's new news only because this is a story that's going to get buried. One of the things that I thought was dangerous and alarming during COVID was that not only there was just so much disinformation, the information that was good or solid was being pushed in another direction, right? So like people are so fatigued with COVID that something like this comes out and they're not even caring. And the bigger picture is here is, okay, if it was released by accident or on purpose, that needs to be looked at. And also too, like, did America basically collapse America on purpose?
You wanna know,
like, asked.
Here's my thought on this. There's another thing I was just thinking about on you when I'm just thinking. People were so fatigued from Trump and just the overflowing of just spewing of just Russia and Stormy Daniels and this and that and voter fraud and I'm the best and the border and blah blah blah. It was just so much that when Biden took over, for 3 weeks it was just like calm, and then bullshit started happening even with Biden, and people were just so tired and so fatigued from all this shit that they with Trump. That's why you had a lot of people just say, "All right, fuck it. You know what? All right, I'll put a mask on. Shoot me with a vaccine. All right, I'll stay indoors. All right, whatever you guys say. I'm tapped out. I'm emotionally and mentally tapped out, having to react to what this president is saying. And here's another. I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on right now, real quick.
Here we go. Let's go.
The reason why they're letting Trump back on social media is because they want this story to get buried. Because he's gonna come out and say on or whatever platform he comes back on and says, "I told you guys," because he was right. And I don't see one person that hates Trump say, "You know what? I don't like this fucking guy, but he was right," because it was from a Wuhan lab and it was the China virus. Because anywhere a virus originates from is gonna be called that. If it was fucking in Antarctica, it would have been the Antarctic virus. But it came from China. It came from a level 4 Wuhan lab. And he was right about that. And people won't come out and say he was right. You would only get that from the Republican side. And it sucks because it has nothing to do with being Republican or being Democratic. How about we just get the fucking thing right? How about we just want to be on the right side? And I know I don't want to get too far into this because we're doing news and no news.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
But we just keep getting into this thing where it's like people just don't love America. And it's a weird thing to me. And it's like, why can't we want to be on the same page. Like, I don't want people to die. I don't want anybody dying. But like, we gotta start taking facts into consideration, because the ramifications from this is way worse. And people don't even want to talk about that. And that shit infuriates me. But let's keep going on news and no news.
I got you, bro. No, I feel you. I'm scared because even the emails I don't think are getting enough love. This story is not going to get enough love. And so let's go to our next segment, because I think that not our next segment, but our next point on this segment, they're going to let him back on. Okay. Is this news or is this no news? I think it's a 2-year ban. They let Trump back on Facebook. News or no news?
I think it's news because, like, just reiterating before, I think they're going to try to use him as a distraction.
Got it.
You got a lot of these people, a lot of Democrats. You got a lot of people, you have a lot of Democrats are like, wait a minute, hold on, some funny business. Like, you have a lot of people now in a sense of like, all right, I don't want to do this shit no more. Like, we're gonna lock down for too long. Look at how Florida's fine. Texas is fine. You know, Arizona's fine. You got all these other states who are not doing it. And now we have a thing where some of the vaccines are going to expire. So now that's money wasted. Because you have a lot of people like, fuck, I don't trust you guys. And you got a lot of people getting the first dose and not getting the second dose. Because they don't trust it. So I think they're letting Trump on just so you can come in and say some shit to distract some people. And we're going to see what happens.
You know, it's another funny thing. I think that the timing is really funny because in 2 years, you'll be running for office again. You're going to give them back the platform right in time. If anything, if I was in Mark Zuckerberg's position, I would have said, nah, we'll give you a 4-year ban. Right?
I think it should be no ban, period.
I get it. I understand. We've talked about that. I'm just saying because first of all, like, there's just so much with this that's infuriating to me, because there was people once upon a time who went to prison for inciting a riot. They went to prison. This guy didn't. This guy's got all these probes and all this bullshit. And it's going to be crazy if we're going to be calling him President Trump in a few years again, which is wild. All right, so let's move on. Okay, we're going to stay kind of in a similar space. This is some interesting news that I found out. News or no news, Anonymous goes after Elon Musk.
I think it's news just because I don't know what, like.
You watch the video?
I saw half of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
Okay.
But I just say it's news in the sense of they normally go after the bad guy. And for relatively a long time, Elon Musk
Here's me too, bro.
is the bad guy. So I don't know. I don't know.
It's like what I like to say. It's a cause for pause, because they don't go after just regular dudes. Like, they just don't wake up one morning and be like, you know what, we're gonna go after fucking Christopher Robbins because he's a nice guy.
The only thing I can think of is that I think Anonymous has a lot of cryptocurrency in general. Their organization has a lot of cryptocurrency, and it's him making, saying anything about cryptocurrency. It made it hit their pockets in a sense, because for the most part you could move money in the crypto space,
He
anonymously.
fucked up crypto big time, bro. He
Yeah.
fucked crypto big time. Since that SNL appearance, he fucked up the whole thing.
So I think it's just more of it, and I just think he hit their pockets in the sense of they probably just are retaliating. In a sense,
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Not so much as an evil thing, more so that they're like, you fucked with my space.
I'm gonna just fuck with you a little bit. Exactly. That's what I think it is. I don't think he's.
Okay.
But I don't know. Most of these guys, the bad stuff come out, and like normally Anonymous says what the bad things are when they go after people. They don't normally say, "Hey, listen, you did X, Y, and Z." They really didn't say that he did X, Y, and Z.
They did. So check it out. X, Y, and Z is this.
What?
So first of all, they come out and they say that Tesla might potentially be a front. Okay. For other things that they're doing, like Tesla doesn't make its money on cars.
No, they license their technology. That's what they make majority of their money on.
That's what the consensus from the news is, according to Anonymous. They're saying that they make most of their money on government subsidies.
I could see that.
Right. Also, too, I think another thing that they took a shot at him was some of the cobalt. I think it's cobalt. I'm not 100% sure what particular metal they use, but I think cobalt is one of them. Their cobalt mining for Tesla batteries uses child labor, and the conditions of those workplaces aren't the best. And I think that on Tesla's battery day, they had mentioned that they have some cases and people are like banging on their chest because they want those facilities closed down. I think also too, they mentioned that, he's becoming in love a little too much with himself, especially doing the SNL, appearance. And he kind of seems like a tone deaf billionaire, basically, is what they're trying to say. But pretty much they also had mentioned that, basically when they absorbed all that crypto, they inflated it, right? And then they moved it under that inflation and then sold it all. Because him 1 week, so this is the thing too, right? Like there's another shot they took at him. He's supposed to be this guy about trying to save the environment, right? But you knew before you took crypto as a payment, you knew that crypto's like energy footprint is bad for the environment. But he still did that decision, and then like 3 weeks later just jumped off the fucking train on it and basically like tanked it. Ethereum took a shot. Doge went through the fucking toilet. Bitcoin hemorrhaged like $20,000. Like, think about the people that had all those million dollar wallets, man. Like, that shit fucked up fools a lot. I'm gonna get back to the point here and say that it is news only because if Anonymous is on your tail, it doesn't smell right. So I say it's news. All right, let's move on here to the next one. Let me double check because I just jumped around a little bit. All right, I'll jump around again. We'll stay with this one. So, news or no news? El Chapo's missus basically pleads guilty to 3 drug trafficking charges.
No news. I just think she just had I know she was kind of like giving information. If I'm not mistaken, she was kind of an informant for
on
them.
him.
Yeah, on the organization a little bit. So she probably had.
She better lay low. She got a deal coming her way. They're gonna end up moving her to fucking. They're gonna call her Esperanza and move her to fucking Arizona so that nobody comes and finds her.
I just say no news because you're gonna get, or you got a Chapo. It's already another guy in place now. So
yeah, I say same thing. I say no news. We need to look at the whole drug enforcement situation. We're not even handling that. All right, let's get to what we like to do the best here. So we'll get to some sports stuff. Okay, Kirk Cousins watches his whole entire season this offseason. Is that news or no news? Relative to the fact that is that going to make him play better?
I say no news because you're a professional. You're supposed to go back and look at your work and see where you could improve on your good games, where you could have been better, and on your bad games where you could have been better. So I just think it's work.
I mean, evaluating. I thought that's what you do. I'm gonna only say it's news, only because he can't play primetime games. So hopefully this helps him out. So let's see what he takes away from his primetime games. Okay, news or no news? Brady knew he had a knee issue in 2020. Opts to wait to the offseason and gets the surgery done. So basically, he won a Super Bowl on a bum knee. News or no news?
I say no news. I just think his game was never predicated on his athleticism anyway.
Right.
It was all meant to cerebral approach anyway. he was out there. You know, if you're out there, you're able to play. You can't have no excuses. So I say no
Cool.
news.
All right, I say the same thing through. He's the GOAT, and the guy just gets it done. Knee or no knee, it doesn't really matter. Okay, which is the bigger news? If Wilson wins the Saints starting job, or if Taysom Hill wins the starting job?
I think the bigger news would be if Taysom Hill will win to win the starting job.
Okay.
Because they use him for mostly as a gadget guy. I think we got to give Winston a fair shake. You know, give him one more chance, and if he flops, he has weapons around him. He has a good head coach. He supposedly has a LASIK surgery. He did throw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. He did throw 30 picks, but throwing 5,000 yards is throwing 5,000 yards. Like, and let's say if he cut his intos in half, who's to know he would have 45 touchdowns or 50 touchdowns, whatever.
That could have been a Hall of Fame season. To be honest with you, I don't know what it is with Famous. I think it's more the off the field stuff. But when he's on the field, he's kind of dialed. I've never watched his game. I know he'd be doing some dumb shit, but overall, it doesn't look like he's purposely trying to lose.
Also,
games.
too, you know, under Bruce Arians,
Bruce Arians is a motherfucker on the low.
He was a risk it biscuit kind of guy. And look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady was having a high in the first half of the season, high picks, and he was like, and then once he went to the bye, yo, listen, we changing the offense.
We gotta talk. We gotta do a talking.
We gotta change this up.
Streaks shit is not working.
Exactly. And then look, it should change. They won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so
exactly. All right, that's fair enough for me. I would say it would be more news if Winston wins the starting position, only because he has seemed to be put to bed and buried. I like Taysom Hill. I think he's better than a gadget quarterback. I think he could play football very similar to Lamar. Not as fast, not as quick.
True.
He could still move the ball, and I think that when you have an offense that's missing a quarterback, I would take a scrambling quarterback over a passing quarterback just for those, extra yards and things of that nature. Okay, news or no news that the NFL and the NFLPA is offering $1 million in management research, including cannabis and CBD. So now the NFL is going to be looking at for pain and for rehabbing whether or not cannabis or CBD could be effective. News or no news?
I say it's news just because those researchers are already out there. Weed helps. CBD helps. It lowers inflammation. It helps your muscles recover faster. It helps with injuries recover. It's all the research is already there. So them saying they're putting money together into do research, to me is just stupid. It's a waste of $1 million. It's probably gonna go to some bullshit lab or some team they're gonna put together and waste that money.
So you think this is more of like a bullshit kind of deal?
I think it's a showman thing. It makes no sense that you're still testing for marijuana. Like, it's just dumb. It's just a stupid thing.
Okay. News or no news? Tom Thibodeau wins Coach of the Year.
I say it's news because he shouldn't have won it. I think it wasn't deserving. I think
I know you like the guy. Who was the guy that you was in love with more? Was it the Mavericks dude or was it the Portland dude? Who did you like?
I would have gave it to the Suns coach, Monty Williams.
First of all, come on, the fucking Suns.
Exactly.
Where the fuck did they come from?
Like,
for sure. What a turnaround.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that was a bigger turnaround, and they had to wait.
I mean, I agree, but nothing's gonna be bigger than the Knicks turnaround. The Knicks have been horrible for fucking.
But the Knicks didn't have a great season. They were 39-31. That's not fantastic.
But they still finished fourth in the East.
But that's the East.
I get that, but still, it's not their fault that they're in the fucking.
The Suns finished second.
I get that, but that's also against a weak West too. Let's not get too crazy.
No, not even.
LeBron didn't play. Steph Curry didn't have his whole crew at 100. Right, fucking the Clippers stink.
They
right?
still
so when you look at the West. The West is not as dope.
But they still won. They won close to 50 games.
I'm with you on all
that. Not 39 games.
Got it. But again, it wasn't as stacked as it wasn't like it was a fully loaded West.
And then let's keep it a stack. Look at the playoffs. Knicks get slapped, and then the Suns slapped the Lakers.
So let me ask you this. So so you say news. I'm saying it's news just because I don't even know when's the last time the Knicks won an award. You're saying that it's news because it's a slap in the face to some of these other coaches.
Exactly. Even the Utah Snyder, the Utah.
Everybody, I would say Suns, Mavericks, Portland, like all of the names that weren't households.
Mm-hmm. You could have even done in the East, the 76ers. Doc Rivers could have won it. They were in first place. You could have done Steve Nash. They were in second place. With the rotations he had to do, Kevin Durant was out most of the season. Kyrie was on some sabbatical mentally. James Harden got hurt. Like it was a whole bunch of LaMarcus
yeah.
Aldridge retired. You brought in Blake Griffin. You sat DeAndre Jordan. You got rid of Jared Allen. You got rid of Spencer Dinwiddie. Got a knee injury. Like it was just more
managed all
deserving.
that.
He
Yeah,
managed all
no.
that, and second in the East. So to me, it was like I said, news just because I don't think he deserved it.
Is this something to build off of for next season? They obviously need players.
The only good thing that came from the Knicks being in the playoffs, it gave basketball felt better that they were good. The Knicks were good. The energy coming off the MSG screen, watching them play, and just the hype around New York City about the Knicks just being in the playoffs, you felt the energy of the Knicks being relevant. That's the only I could take. That's the only good takeaway I could take away from
Okay,
the
that's
Knicks.
fair. That's fair. We'll move on. I had another point on that, but it doesn't matter. Okay, Naomi Osaka basically withdraws from.
The French Open, I think.
I was gonna say, I think it's the French Open, due to the fact that she's dealing with mental stress because of having to talk to press. Are we okay with her? First of all, we talked about this a little bit. I didn't double check it when I talked to you about it the first time. Your original statement was it's part of the program. You got to talk to guys. But now knowing that she's basically left the French, some people gave her shit about not doing the presser. Some people gave her shit about leaving because she didn't want to do the presser. Where do you stand on this aisle on whether or not athletes should do press or not press? I know you said already yes. Do you still stick with that? And what are your thoughts on her taking some time off due to the fact that she potentially didn't talk to the press?
I say this is big news. Just because people have to know self-awareness is a big thing, and a lot of people don't know their self-awareness. And she felt that she wasn't going to be able to perform the way she could because she was depressed for whatever reason. To her, she was just for herself. So I can't tell somebody not to be depressed if
Right,
she
of course.
and then like sometimes too the media doesn't help because they'll be like, hey, listen, I saw you on a date with Justin Bieber, blah 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 blah. Like that has nothing to do with her slapping somebody in the French Open. You know, like it's a little bit on the media's fault. But at least she was respectable enough to say, hey, listen, she's at the top of the game. She's the number one player in the world. And she says, hey, listen, I can't perform for me at the top level. I need to step away. And it highlights for other athletes to do this. It would be like, to me, it's equivalent, a barrier breaking if, let's say, LeBron James came out tomorrow and say, hey, I'm gay. It in a sense of like, it would break that stigma of mental health is a big thing. A lot of people are going through it right now. What happens if the next day she went to the French Open, she won the French Open, and then she kills herself the day she won the French Open? Then they'll be like, oh, she was so happy, but she had mental issues, and we lost a good person young. At least she's self-aware enough in herself, and she says it. So like for the most part, if you ever see any of her interviews, she's not an extrovert. She's really introverted, and she's very shy, and she's made that known. So like, it's kind of hard. You don't want to play in the world in the women's division, and then you have 30, 40, 50 reporters asking you 100 questions. Then you have Instagram, and then you have Twitter, and then you have YouTube, and then you have endorsements, and then you have your third cousin for your mom's fourth sister side. Hey, can I get some money? Like, all that shit plays into a factor. Because the phone ain't ringing when you broke.
Nobody calls me.
Exactly. And as soon as somebody sees you fucking $300 million, everybody's calling.
Phone starts fucking ringing, bro. Can't wait.
You have all these things. And I just, I hope, my heart goes out to her. I hope she finds, herself to come to center, back to who she feels like she should be. And, she's made close to $300 million.
You can walk now.
She could just,
I told somebody that the other day. I was like,
she could step away. If I was her, I would step away for a year or two. Go see get as much counseling as you need, and and if you come back and you still feel the same, then you just walk away and you just I think your internal happiness should outweigh anything else.
I agree. I think you said it amazingly. There's nothing really much for me. Yeah, I definitely think it's news that she had the gusto, just be like, fuck it, I'm out. We talk about it all the time. These guys don't fucking do that. There's a lot of people that just are just like, you know what? Made enough money fuck you. I don't got to deal with this scrutiny, this bullshit, and this nonsense. I mean, they still find, like you were saying with the 40-50 reporters, you could smoke fools. And they'd be like, so what happened about that ace that you missed, in the first round? It's like, listen, did you not see me fucking walk away with the championship?
Yep.
Why are you asking me shit?
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. And I think that tied into last week's fucking thing, I think the media does a bad job. And I'm specifically speaking about the sports writers. The way Kwame Brown had mentioned it before. Some of these people are young and they're introverts. I think Tiger Woods was one of those people. I think Venus Williams was one of them. I also spoke about Ricky Williams a couple of weeks ago, my friend of mine. Like, these are just guys and girls that, they need to figure out what's best with them. And if that's the case, then they got to go do that. All right, moving on. What do we got here? So boom. So the last one on the docket is this story is turning. We're about to drop the Deshaun Watson video that we did about some of our reaction, but this is pretty much Watson wants to go to Denver. What do you think? News or no news?
I say no news in a sense of he should go anywhere but the Texans, like and anywhere but there.
I would say anywhere but there and Green Bay.
True.
These organizations
True.
don't know what the fuck they're doing.
There too. I just think like the NBA effect has spilled over a little bit to the NFL, where like these dudes are like, you know what? I only have a small amount of time. I need to take a big advantage of it. I'm out.
Talents to Miami, baby.
I'm out, and I'm with them. You got to take
100% too.
Because
of that shit too. And I gotta I want to like intervene really quickly. Stop being such a fucking homer, bro. He gave you 4 good years. You fucking smashed it. Let the dude go. Let the guy go. Let him fucking win. That's why to me it's funny being a Jets fan, being a Knicks fan. I only got lucky with the Yankees a couple of years in a row, but for me overall, I don't really try to fall in love with franchises. I try to fall in love with players because at the end of the day, I want them to get success. And I'm not gonna stay attached to a shitty organization just so that I could be fucking faithful to the fan base. I think it's not good.
Because I found it a slap in the face going back just a couple of steps.
Yeah, please.
That the Knicks went and raised the season tickets. As soon as you got...
I just told you, bro, and you go back in on this. In COVID, regular shit, before that, it was still like it's like $3-4 grand for floor seats. Nosebleeds. You know how much a nosebleed seat at a Knicks game is, bro? It's like $400. Why are you raising the fucking tickets?
And then you got the balls because you have a little bit of success, which wasn't even fantastic success. It was mediocre that you thought it was great success.
Right.
That you got the balls to go and raise the prices on your season tickets.
That's doodle.
So it just shows that these organizations are just fucking...
They don't care.
They don't care. So Deshaun Watson...
Yeah, get the fuck out of Dodge. Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know who's disgruntled in baseball right now, but it looks like Pete Alonso might not be playing for the Mets longer. Yeah. They keep running his fucking mouth. Whatever, bro. I gotta go.
Yep. And I hope these guys do it. I hope Deshaun and other people follow Deshaun's footsteps and they just bounce.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say I would say it's news only because if he goes to Denver, they're automatic contenders. And that's just another playoff team for the Chiefs to contend with, for some of these other organizations that are in the AFC to deal with. So I don't know. His saga continues and it keeps unfolding in a very strange way. I just hope it gets remedied and we at least get to see Deshaun Watson play this season. All right, that concludes our news or no news segment. We're gonna jump right into Around the Leagues, where we cover the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, MLB, whatever the heck we think about doing. And so I guess we technically buried the lead, but we're not because everybody on YouTube is going crazy. I wanted to get this out there. Twitter's going nuts. Julio goes to Tennessee. Your thoughts?
I found it very odd that he went to Tennessee. 1. 2, I found it odd he only went for a 2nd round pick and a 5th round pick. The fact that the Chiefs didn't go after him.
Bro, based on the 2 and the 5, everybody had a chance.
Everybody.
I would have given a 1 for him.
I agree.
If you could win a Super Bowl, who gives a fuck what the draft pick is? Right?
I agree.
I would have fucking... That's the thing, too. These fucking guys, bro, they're the worst, man. Like dealing with these organizations is like nickel and dime and nickel and dime and nickel. And I'm like, bro, check it out. I give you one first round pick overall, straight up. Let's go. Give me the guy. We out of here. If I was New England, I would have did it. If I was Green Bay, I would have did it. If I was the Chiefs, I would have did it. If I was Tampa Bay, I would have been like, get on the phone, see what we could do for homeboy. Tell him to take no money this year, defer it for 2 years. We'll pay him all. Like, are we hit it? It almost feels like to me, bro, that teams don't want to win. And another thing that I thought was crazy, right? Sorry to interrupt you again. This one gets me crazy. How did Atlanta believe that Matt Ryan is their best chance when Julio is like the straw that stirs the drink there?
I have no idea.
And now shit comes out, right? Not comes out, but
yeah.
Calvin Ridley's dealing with a foot injury, not going to be in camp, so you know that's going to hurt. So what he's got? He's got a second year wide receiver that he's going to go to camp with, and he's going to go with a rookie tight end.
Yep.
So basically, you have no offense now.
They just to save money.
Right, for why? Then don't tell me Atlanta Falcons you're here to win, because you're not. You're not here to win. If that was the case, I would have blew up the whole thing.
And I was shocked that even he kind of signed off on going there. Like, why didn't he go to somewhere better? Like, I want to know, like, if I'm Patty Mahomes, I'm like, yo, well, why didn't we get Julio? Can you explain to me? Because if I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm restructuring my contract to pay homeboy, because I'm getting paid my money anyway. I'm getting paid $500 million regardless of the fact. And I'm getting paid another 70, 80 mil in endorsements off the field anyway. So I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to change my shit to $1 million a year.
Yes.
Whatever. So get Julio. Like, what's going on? If aspiration is to be in the Super Bowl, you're going to be a 32nd pick, 30th pick, 31st pick in the first round anyway. So why not give up a first round pick for the guy, even if you have for a year or two? Any guy, any person that you're gonna draft in the first round at number 31, he's better than, no matter what.
Let me tell you something. Let's say I'll be generous. Let's give it 10. Out of the 10th pick, it's all a fucking crapshoot. To me, the first round pick doesn't mean jack shit.
Yep.
One has even hit. And by the way, we're teasing it out now. I didn't get a chance. I was going to do it this week, but there was just too many stories. We're definitely next week going to be looking at money equaling wins for some of these starting quarterbacks who have reached some of these big contracts. And we'll go back to, and we'll look maybe in a further show or two, what has been the outcome of some of these first round picks. Bro, anybody should have gave up for Julio. Okay, so now my next thing is now. Got King Henry. Obviously 2K on the ground. Tennessee has a lot of issues. I don't really believe in Ryan Tannehill. People keep telling me that he's great. I think he's okay. I think he's in the Kirk Cousins vein.
Mm-hmm.
For as many games as he wins, he loses the big ones too. Does this make Tennessee better? Having Julio now to, they lose Corey Davis to the Jets, but now they get Julio Jones. I believe the other.
A.J. Brown.
Right? Come on, that guy's filthy. So what do we got here?
The offense should be potent. You can't stack the box
right
anymore.
Way.
You can't have 8 guys in the box, 9 guys in the box to stop Derrick Henry. So that play action is going to be insane. The first and 10 or first and 5 or second and 3, Derrick Henry's going to own those downs. I just think what Tennessee's biggest issue, and they didn't address it, was they were terrible at rushing the passer. And if you can't get your defense off the field, having all that offense don't mean shit. So
yeah, but you could also argue that if they're scoring points, the defense is going to be better, right? It's going to it could turn into like a Peyton Manning style of defense, right? Where they're just putting up points and the defense kind of just goes out there and just, because if it's a matter of inches or yards, you got to just get a couple stops and you win the game. I mean, I just don't know. I think, the Herd brought up a very interesting point that overall, as much as we gush on Julio averages 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. Average. Does that make him a great player? Total, this whole season, like if you just average it out, right? If you average how long he's been in the building, he averages about 800 yards a season and averages about 8 touchdowns a season, right? So if that is the case,
I don't think that's right. I know he averages 86 yards a game, so that's close to 1,300 yards a season. Okay. I know he's not a high touchdown guy, so that that's the one thing that has always plagued him. But for whatever reason, that's something that probably was wrong with Matt Ryan. For whatever reason, they just didn't get the ball to Julio Jones inside the 20 or inside the 10. For whatever reason, like when I used to watch I watched Red Zone. So when you watch Red Zone, it comes to all the games. When the Falcons are in the Red Zone, they never went to Julio Jones. For whatever reason, they just didn't go to him. You go to the Green Bay game in the Red Zone, they threw every fucking pass to Devontae Adams. Even if he was doubled. But for whatever reason, with Matt Ryan, I don't know if he fucked his sister or owed him money, but he refused to give him the ball in the end zone. So I don't know. You know, it might hopefully it changes with Ryan Tannehill and those play actions where they're gonna get a lot of 1-on-1 in the 20.
Ryan's gonna go to the rock. That's one thing I gotta say. I'm not a fan of Ryan Tannehill, but he forces the ball like a motherfucker. So if anything, Julio's. This might be. Is this the year to take Julio free agency? Because he's not gonna be a top guy.
You mean after the season? Oh, you talking about fantasy?
So this season, fantasy season, yeah. Would you take a flyer on him? Because he's not.
You have to.
Yeah, he's not going to be a top 15 pick though.
No, he'll be a part of top 20 pick just because of his name, just because of
yeah, of course, the name on the jersey. I get you.
Who he is.
Okay, so Tennessee would be better. Let's say a lot of short down distance. They don't have the defense. I was saying a little bit now too. Now is the Falcons dead officially?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be surprised if they come back.
Yeah. I'll take 3 or 4 years.
All right, I buried that one, but we'll get back to that because we were screaming about baseball for a long time. I want to take this shot for you real quick. Barkley, Quan, doesn't know now if he'll be ready for the season opener. Also doesn't know when he'll be ready. Should the Giants fan base be concerned about how bad this knee?
I have been concerned for the last 6-7 years with my Giants, and it's a concerning matter. And I had a discussion with some of the people I know, and I was like, there was a report. Pro Football Focus says the Giants have the worst offensive line rated, right? So my last 5-6 years, I'm like, we need to take fucking offensive linemen. If you cannot protect the quarterback,
there's no point in playing the game.
There's no reason. Because we've seen in the Super Bowl, look at fucking Patty Mahomes. He was running for his fucking life, and you don't have an offensive line. So then you draft Saquon Barkley. I was like, why the fuck are we drafting a running back? We don't have an offensive line to protect Eli Manning at the time, and we're drafting Saquon Barkley for what? We can't run the rock. It made no sense. We should have took Quentin Nelson in that draft, one of the best O linemen in the game right now. And then the next year we go and we draft Daniel fucking Jones, horrible QB, fucking stinks.
I can't.
Horrible.
I still can't believe he has a job.
And the dude I was talking to, he was giving him outs.
Who, Daniel?
Daniel Jones on why he was bad. And I get it. For the most part, we've been hurt. The receivers have been hurt.
Okay, that's a fair one, but he still got tackled by nobody when he had nothing in front of him.
Exactly.
That too.
And then I'm like, yo, he's worse than Jameis Winston.
100%.
He leads the league since he came into the league in turnovers.
Jesus Christ.
22 picks, 17 lost fumbles.
Wow. Damn, and people would talk shit about Eli Manning. Eli Manning's numbers.
Exactly. And
the turnover machine.
In Jameis Winston, he threw 30 picks and lost 5 fumbles. So you can't compare the two. And then he was trying to make a point like you can't be good if your playmakers are hurt. And I'm like, I get that. But if you have no O-line to protect him, fumbles are going to occur. Picks are going to occur because you can't protect the quarterback. But I'm like, you don't see anything special in Daniel Jones. You don't see no Deshaun Watson in him. You don't see no Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones. You don't see no potential there. There's zero potential with Daniel Jones.
I think it's done. Like I don't know why we're still waiting around him for this.
I don't get it.
Guy is not good.
At all.
I've watched him play.
At all.
He has moments.
And then
a moment last season that I watched him play the Steelers. They're dialing. All of a sudden, one bad play, that's it. If the guy has one turnover, it affects him. He doesn't have the capacity to move past bad plays.
And he averages 2 turnovers a game.
Terrible.
That's
losses.
It's all losses. If you don't turn the ball over in a game,
You win a game.
you have your win rate is like 98%. if you don't have a turnover in a game. Now imagine he's having 2 a game. He averages 2 a game. And that's not including the fumbles that he recovered.
I shot to your people, right? You guys didn't even address anything. You didn't get no backup quarterback. You didn't got no quarterback to challenge him in camp, right?
Nope.
You got a wide receiver that nobody fucking heard of in college in a draft that everybody knew everybody, right? No O-line. In my opinion, you get a wide receiver who I think is overrated and pay a lot of money for. So we'll see how that works out. So basically, you got a bad quarterback, a running back now with a bum knee. Who knows if he gets injured again? He might be done. I feel bad for him. A bunch of good receivers with no O-line and a great defense, let's say. We won't even go great. We'll say good.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do with all that? And now your future potentially is being held by Daniel Jones, and you're waiting for Saquon to come back. And again, that's another position you didn't address.
Exactly.
You don't have a backup for Saquon. You don't got nobody.
It was stupid. And then we trade back in the draft as opposed to trading up to get Sine Pool. I know I'm butchering his name. Why not get him on the O line? Like he went to Detroit. They just reassured the offensive for Jared Goff.
I'm telling you right now, I think that there's something going on with them not wanting to fucking take black quarterbacks. You could have took the kid from fucking Ohio State, and you could have had a quarterback. You'd have had a quarterback. You'd have been good. You guys were trash. Usually, teams that are trash in the NFL come out with gold. Like I gotta give a lot of props to the Jets. They went in there wheeling and dealing like a motherfucker. To me, they outwheeled and outdealed the Giants like crazy. They addressed all their problem areas. They got basically a brand new team. That's what the Giants need, at least on offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, O-line and D-line is where the game is won. If you have a good O-line and a good D-line, you control the exact and the entire tempo of the entire game. And the fact that we don't have offensive line that I've been screaming about for the last 6-7 years. And people were talking shit about Eli Manning. I'm like, you can't be good if you fucking running for your life the whole game. Or you being rushed off your spot the whole game. Any quarterback, period, if you're rushed off your timing or rushed off your spot, you look average.
It's super easy to look at. Look at fucking all of Tom Brady's losses and look at Patrick last season.
That's it. It's not that difficult.
And guys get smothered and get tackled. All right. Another thing that I wanted to jump into, and it's another huge story. So, did you watch this Mayweather and Paul fight?
I saw like
any of it.
I saw like the 6, 7, 9, 8 innings. I mean, rounds. The last 3 rounds.
Let's start with that. What'd you think of the fight? Even if you've seen 3 rounds.
It was what I thought. It was a boxer versus a guy, an amateur guy. You had a professional, one of the greatest boxers of all time, sparring. Yeah,
smoked him.
Of course he did.
He went to the fucking the finishing bell. I feel like, to me, this was a knock more on Floyd Mayweather than it was on Paul.
But I think
Paul
it was
able to hang.
But he hit him. All his percentages for landing punches was like 10% of landed punches.
But you're also going against a guy whose like percentage on landing is like through the fucking roof.
Hey, he was at 40% almost, which is pretty good. And he's and he was outweighed him by 30 pounds, 40 pounds.
Because
it's exhibition. It's an exhibition.
Fighting, I get that. Is fighting losing its gusto where now we got to do these kind of weird fights? Because it looks strange, bro. Yeah, like a really small dude fighting this tall motherfucker. Like, they didn't seem to, like, no weight classes, no fucking divisions, none of that shit. We're just going to fight for fun and money. Is that going to hurt the sport of boxing? Or you think people are going to try to go more to it because of this shenanigans?
Well, the issue is, it's like simple, like the supply and demand. Like, if you think that what this is happening is bad for the sport, I got a perfect solution. You don't watch it.
Right.
Because if you don't watch it, it doesn't make money. And if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. But if people want to watch it, it's a spectacle. It's entertainment. It could bring the more eyes to boxing in a sense of like you're gonna have a lot of these guys getting paid. You know, like you have a lot of these MMA fighters getting paid. You're gonna have a lot of these, influencers getting paid. Like let's put it like this, for instance. If let's say Floyd was, Triple G or Canelo, right? And was like, you know what? I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna knock this kid out in the first round. That could potentially fuck up money down the line in the sense of, all right, these professional boxers are knocking out these influencers quickly, so there's no money behind it. So it's like It was kind of like how the Mike Tyson effect. Remember in his heyday, first 50 seconds knocked people out. Some people didn't buy it because they didn't want to. They didn't want to lose their money
Yeah.
because they knew he was gonna win in a minute. So that could have been the thing behind it with Floyd. But again, it just goes to his bravado, his salesmanship. People bought him. You know, supposedly 1 million pay-per-view buys, supposedly that was bought.
Telling you, that's a lot. I kept telling fools. Okay, so now let's look at some of the things that I was saying because I believe that this is going to continue and this company is going to grow immensely. Do you think that people are going to continue to want to watch crazy exhibition fights?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because people like freak shows. People like different things. People like circus things. You know, people. I guarantee you, if you put a boxer like The Rock versus a real life bear, people would watch it. Like just because it's like, oh shit, he's gonna fight a bear. Like
I got you. So that actually gives an interesting opportunity. To be honest with you, I didn't think that Mayweather dominated the match as much as I thought it would have been. But obviously, Jake Paul, I don't know how much you've seen. You said you've seen a couple of rounds. I tried to watch the whole thing. There was a lot of hugging. There was a lot of clinching on Paul's behalf. Obviously, you don't want to be going toe-to-toe with a dude who has like massive titles and get knocked out. But I thought it was going to be more of a dominant performance on Mayweather's side. But it looked like something that was a money grab. Obviously,
he said it.
I know for him, but I'm saying overall, right? Like this was, I don't know where this exhibition thing is going to end up. Like, do we even care about the end? Or we just care about the fight. One thing I didn't check. Did you see? Did Ocho win his match?
He supposedly he won he won 3 out of the 4 rounds because they only boxed 4 rounds because he got knocked down in the last round. But supposedly he won the first 3 rounds.
All right, I gotta look that up. But that's interesting that Ocho is trying to get into the too. All right. Another big news story that I waited to the end here and then trying to time it perfectly, especially for you. LBJ knocked out of the first round. Everybody says this is the greatest man since sliced bread. We got a lot of things to cover. Him getting knocked out. Does that fuck up his brand? Excuse me. Does that fuck up his brand? No,
I just thought of I said it last week. I was like, he was 14-0 in the first round. And I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt until he loses in the first round.
Okay,
because you're under.
This L is not as serious because he's never had it happen.
Yeah, and then they were talking about how he's the most hated person in basketball.
I know everybody's getting at my man.
Here's the reason why, and I'll lay it out.
Here we go. Sounds good.
Every player, think about it. Every great player have never said that they're the greatest in the sport of NBA. Jordan never said it. Kobe never said it. Shaq never said it. Wilt, Kareem, Bill Russell, none of these guys said it. So for you, one of the things was for you to have the balls to say that you're the greatest because you came back from a 3-1 deficit and nobody's ever done it. That's fantastic. But then you can't have more losses than wins when the money's on the table. You understand what I'm saying? And then you go and make a super team, right? You take 2 of the top 20 players in the NBA at the time, and you go team up with them, and you only go 50%. You go 2 for 4. You lose to Dallas Mavericks, and then you really could have. He could have been 1-4 if Ray Allen doesn't hit that shot.
It would have been done. Ray Allen is the hero of that game. I remember that shot. That was an amazing shot.
And don't get me wrong, he brought them back. Like LeBron brought them back to get them within for Ray Allen to hit that shot. But if Ray Allen doesn't hit that shot, they lose that one, and now they're 1-4, going with mega superstars and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. But he went 2-4, 50% cool. But then you get smoked the last time with the Spurs. Then you you play it against the Warriors. You lose against the Warriors. Then you guys run it back. You beat the Warriors in a dramatic fashion. And then next you get smoked by the Warriors again. So like, there's a lot of you get a lot of this praise because everybody is trying to call him the GOAT when he hasn't. People just got more eyes on him now.
When you say people, are you talking about the media or are you talking about Joe's? Or both?
Both. You have both because you have a lot of people who just say, like, him participating in something and losing at it shouldn't be an accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, listen, I love LeBron James. I love him for the reason that he's a huge man and what he does with the basketball is kind of hard to do as a bigger dude. But I'm also grounded in my understanding of if you don't win, you don't get the same kind of love. And when you're going against two guys prior to you, that one is, it's almost like Tom Brady, right? So Tom Brady's like Mount Rushmore of accomplishments to beat was like Montana, Elway, right?
Yep.
We'll take that argument to Kobe. I mean to LeBron. You got Kobe and Michael. Michael went 6-6. Can't fucking touch that shit. That shit is hard as a motherfucker. You got the next dude up. He went 5 or 6.
5 or 2, 5 or 7. He went 7.
Sorry, 5 and 7. That's another kind of hard thing to kind of follow up because his percentage winning is what? Like that? Well, that's almost 80%. Right? We did the math. Now here comes you. Now, granted, what he's went to 10 finals.
Yep.
10 and got 4.
40%. And I don't count for me, I don't count the bubble.
Right, the bubble. I think you got to take away too. So you're 3-9. That's
exactly.
Terrible.
That's because my thing is because people give him praise for just participating in it, and I don't think that's a good thing. Because
I think also to
look at
you. Go ahead.
Because look at Jerry West. Jerry West went 1-11 in the finals, and he's not getting praise. I get it. He's the logo, but he's not being mentioned with the greats, like the best of all time, the greatest of all time. So people are just annoyed because you're 6'9", 265, and you just whine too much. Like when it comes to certain shit on the court, the flopping, and then you go to replay and you see that you didn't get a hit in the face and you're holding your eye like you got hit in the face, but the replay shows nobody was nowhere near your face. You know, like it's just stupid things like that. It turns people off. Now you also got the corny people, which I won't ever take this away from LeBron James. Him standing up for his community, him standing up for injustice. That's all fantastic. 8,000 plus. LeBron James, the man off the court, is phenomenal. I think if you could lead your life the way he has off the court, is amazing, phenomenal. I've never has no cheating scandal, no nothing. Impeccable. Helps kids, gives back, does a lot of shit. But when I talk about LeBron James, I talk about strictly between the court, 50 feet across, 94 feet from end to end. That's what I talk about LeBron James is. And to me, I've never liked LeBron James' game. It was never pretty to me. It's not poetry in motion. It wasn't a beautiful crossover. It wasn't a great drop step post move. It wasn't a nice pull up mid range jump shot. It was all, I'm going to dribble past you and I'm stronger than you and I dunk or I lay you up. That's it. And everybody comes to me, I kick to a wide open guy. Like it was never beautiful. It was never, gracious. Oh shit, look at his footwork. Look at how smooth his jump shot looks. He shot 69% from the free throw line. Like he's not a great free throw shooter. His game isn't elegant. It isn't something that you want to emulate. And it's something like similar to like Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is a great basketball player, statistically, has a chip, but Paul Pierce's game isn't nice to watch. So even though LeBron James is 100 times better than Paul Pierce, I'm just saying for me, LeBron James' game isn't pretty to watch. For me. So I can understand why people don't like him because there's so much praise for somebody who loses the most on the biggest stage. Because we spoke about it last week. We're splitting hairs when we get to this level of greatness, and we have to split the hairs of the greatest of all time. It's just like with Chris Paul right now. They had a debate on it today. They're like, he's not even a top 10 point guard of all time. He's never made it to the finals. He doesn't have a regular season MVP. He's never won a chip. Like hard work counts. Like being there, winning at a very high level counts. And you're splitting hairs. And is Chris Paul a great point guard? Yeah, of course he is. But when you got Magic, Steph, Isaiah, AI, like there's levels to the shit.
All right, so great player, just not the GOAT. That's easy to
swallow. I'm fine with that.
Right? Yeah, I don't know why we're always so worried about who's the next guy up. You know what I mean? Like that's all we are constantly consumed with. Okay, a couple more things. First of all, strange season, right? Almost a back-to-backer, right?
Uh-huh.
Is Davis the answer?
I don't think so. Just because he's another guy who is injury prone.
Well, not in that regard.
Right. Yeah,
but he's been injured a lot.
It's always something. It's always my knee, my toe, my shoulder, my neck, my back, my Achilles. So he always has a nagging injury, always. And he's always injured. He was always injured in the Pelicans. He's been injured with the Lakers. He tried to muscle through it with the groin injury. But like, you pull your groin, that you can't even walk. So like, you trying to go out there and trying to show, hey, listen, I'm gonna show up for the playoffs. It just wasn't a good look. But he just always hurt, and it's a sad thing.
All right, I was seeing, I forgot who posted this, but Russell Westbrook to the Lakers. You pulled that deal?
No shot. No shot.
Why?
No shot. He can't shoot.
Okay.
Why would you put a guard with LeBron? You need the Lakers lost this year, and would have lost last year if it was a regular season as well, because we can't shoot. The Lakers are my team. We can't shoot. We were like 25th in 3-point percentage. We were like in 20s for free throw percentage. Can't shoot. It's a shooter's league. So you gonna get another guy who shoots like 28% from the 3-point line, and Russell Westbrook. What we need to do if we're gonna make moves is we need to go get Damian Lillard. We get Damian Lillard. That's a whole weird. Now we contending.
That's animal. I like that. Me and Dame. I'm a fan.
Yep. So that's somebody who would be different.
That would be sick. Okay. Does he? How long does he stay in LA?
I think he plays the next year out.
And if they lose, he bounces.
I think so. I think he's gonna probably go somewhere else where he'll fit in, or close to it.
What about coming back to Miami? Pat Riley just got fucking fined $25,000 for saying that the door is always open.
If he goes back there, no state income tax.
He's gonna be screaming for sure.
Florida has the smartest governor in the whole United States.
Here you go. Look at you.
The next president.
The new president.
He's gonna be the president of 2024. You heard it here first.
Yep. Let's go. Fresh takes.
And it will all depend on how the league shapes up. Like what players moved where, because players are moving every year. The
That's
need,
the hard part, right? Just because you move to a spot doesn't mean it's automatic success.
I think you
need a bench, right? You need some role players.
And he could transition to a point guard. He could essentially, he's already done it, basically almost his entire career. But officially established, saying, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna be an official point guard, and then we'll just have a whole bunch of shooters everywhere." I
just facilitate what we gotta do.
And that's
okay.
it.
So this is our 24th episode. Love to the man Kobe. He's changing his jersey. What does this mean? LeBron is going from 23 back to 6?
Yeah. I think
we care. Story behind this.
One is, I think it's just a promotional thing with Space Jam, because he's gonna be number 6 in Space Jam for Space Jam 2. I think you have that. I also think it has to do with he was chasing Jordan for so long, and I think he's realizing he can't catch him, and he wants to be the reason why 23 is famous, but you can't. Like, Jordan's the reason why 23 is famous. And
I'll tell you this, I know that you were watching. If he practiced and played, and this is not a shot to him, this is just a suggestion. If he practiced and played the way he did that first year they won that title in Miami, I think he'd be unstoppable. But he doesn't. It's hard too, right? Like, to put in that level of effort. When he was cycling from the fucking game back to the hotel. I mean, that year he was on another level physically. Problem is right, like, your body starts to get old, and you. Like, that's another thing too. As much as people scrutinize LeBron James, do you know how hard is it to try to be the greatest on the planet? That's super fucking hard. And to compete at that level every single year, plus probably play, what do you think, 100 games every season?
About, yeah.
Right? You fucking compound that over 10 years.
And he's 18 years in.
Excuse me, let's go that. 18 years in, 20 years.
Almost,
of 100 games. Right? Win a couple of fucking, Olympic deals and whatever.
Yep.
It's a lot. I guess 6 is the number he's gonna have to fuck with. 23. That was a large.
Yep.
I feel like even too, and this is a kind of a shot at Bryant. He just should have stood 8. He was the man at 8. To try to say he was one more than, like Michael made it happen. There's nothing you can say about that guy. Like, he takes 1 year off, comes back, and dominates again, right? But I think you had mentioned he didn't have Pippen. No, it was in you. I was arguing with someone else. If he didn't have Pippen, they say he wouldn't be as dynamic. But I don't know if that's 100%.
I think he would have been. I think Pippen played a huge role in his legacy, but he would have been.
I think so too.
A dominant player. He would have still been a dominant player, a beast player. I do think Pippen joining made a difference, and it showed. Sure. He went 6-0.
But I also think having Phil Jackson made a difference. I also think about European shooters before anybody else thought about that shit was a thing. I think running the triangle offense was a fucking thing. I think getting Dennis Rodman was a thing. Having Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong and all these, like, there was just so much, right? Like, I feel like people like to just put it on Pippen, and I'm like, there's a little bit more to that. It was a lot. Even the GM, some of the moves that he did or didn't do, they were hustling all around in Chicago. Okay, let's stay in the NBA playoffs real quick and move on to one thing before we do Critics Corner. I want to ask you a couple more quick questions. So the Nets seem to be impervious to drama or to tragedy. They they keep playing good. They keep winning. Harden's not going to play Game 3. What are your thoughts? Are they going still?
Yeah, I right now they're losing 28-33 in the second quarter. Okay, which is fine. I just don't see them slowing down. I don't see a team beating them,
especially in the East, right?
In the East, I don't see anybody right now. I said it was Clippers Nets. I said Nets in 6. And here's a funny thing. I know I was thinking about this too. If Kevin Durant wins a chip this year, he would essentially won 3 championships in a row. Without Russell Westbrook. So Russell Westbrook has been the crutch that held him back with his bad decision making, with his bad not being able to shoot, his bad not being able to orchestrate an offense the correct way. They would have won that chip against Toronto. Like, that Toronto chip is even a fraudulent chip. If Klay doesn't get hurt and Kevin Durant doesn't get hurt, the Warriors win that 3-peat.
Smoked them.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a fucking GS fan, but we're gonna get into the Clippers in a second. I don't like the gush on homeboy. That Toronto, get the fuck out of here. Come on, bro.
Exactly.
Toronto,
so I was thinking. So if Durant wins, essentially he would have been 3-0 in the finals without Russell Westbrook. If he gets there and he wins. So who's it? Like, it just comes out to show how much of a crutch Russell Westbrook is to his teams, because even this year they were horrible, the Wizards.
But I could also argue this for KD. He hasn't really won on a team that wasn't stacked, because that GS team was stacked. This fucking Nets team is stacked.
But the Oklahoma team was stacked too. But you have Russell Westbrook as your point guard. The coaching staff doesn't want to tell Russell Westbrook what to do. He's a horrible decision maker. In the crunch time, he's a horrible 3-point shooter. You got outplayed by Ricky Rubio. Like, I get it. One thing you can take away from him, he plays hard every possession, which is fantastic. But sometimes working harder is smarter. You let your emotions get the best of you. You get texted at the wrong time. You get cooked by Steph Curry. Like, you get cooked by Chris Paul. Like, there's a lot of things that go against you in these moments, because that OKC team was stacked. You had Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Serge Ibaka. You had Thabo Sefolosha. You had Kevin Durant. You had Steven Adams. The team was good.
So good. They were really good.
The team was good.
They made me a fan. I was like, who are all these dudes?
But for whatever reason, Westbrook, just a bad decision maker. And he's proven it over and over and over and over again. He's like the reverse of Tim Tebow. He's fantastic for 3.5 quarters, But the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, he's dookie.
I know you were telling me that he falls apart when the game is down the line.
So every single time.
All right, so let's go to the team that you had just predicted that they're gonna go. How are the Clippers shaping up for you right now? Because they look like they've been struggling a little bit, but they get out of the first round. Now they're
down 0-1.
Right.
But I feel like they just came out of a 7-game series. I do think they tie it up. I think they play tonight. They play tonight at 10. And they're just a weird team for me because for whatever reason, Paul George, he's turning into like a Peyton Manning where he'll just destroy in the regular season and playoff come around and he just butt. Because that's what's going on right now with Paul George. Yeah, he got a couple 4 for 17 games, 5 for 16, 3 for 19 games. Like, you can't be considered a star in this league. And some consider him a superstar. I don't consider him a superstar. I consider him a star. You can't be doing that. And you can't. When are you guys gonna stop getting cooked? Luka 40, 35, 40, 40, 40. Donovan Mitchell 45. If you guys are supposedly this great defensive team, why do you keep letting 40-point scorers go?
I'll be honest with you. I was concerned last year when they got bumped, even though it was bubble. They got Doc thrown out of town. I just think that the team.
I thought I was fucked up.
Yeah, I like the team chemistry. There's something wrong with that team. I
definitely thought I was fucked up that they fired Doc.
He's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
That's a little bit overstated.
One of, not the greatest.
I don't even think he's like top 10.
He turns around franchises though.
Yeah, but you gotta win, bro.
When he got to the Clippers, they were fucking terrible.
And they didn't win. And they didn't win nothing.
I get that, but we gotta listen. I understand that. Listen, talking to you is like only talking to championship. I'm talking to like the regular guy here, okay?
Even regular guy, he's
into the playoffs. They get into the playoffs.
What is that? We don't play the game to get to the playoffs.
I understand that, but there's also teams that don't play to get into the playoffs. That's got to be worse.
So but those guys suck.
I get it, but you also have to you got to give some context to it because not everybody can win the championship. So some teams are gonna be the average guy, and to me, in the playoffs, that shows that you are attempting to win. When you're fucking constantly getting bumped or not even making it, that shows to me that you're not like legitimately committed to winning. All right, let's take a pause from there, and I'll talk to you something else, and we'll bring it right back. How sick is this kid? Joke. Is this guy like a bad man or what, bro?
Jokic? Yeah, I think right now he's ran into the buzzsaw playing against the Suns. I think the Suns are just on fire right now. I think they're clicking on all cylinders. Like I said, I think Monty Williams should have been one coach of the year. I think too much credit is going towards Chris Paul.
All of it is. I feel like.
And I think it's
where did he come from? He was washed up like an hour ago.
Well, he got OKC into the playoffs, which was crazy.
He's turned a lot of teams around, bro. When he was in Houston, even though he couldn't get along with Harden, it seemed like they were better with CP3. But this Sun shit though is out of fucking like left field though.
Because Devin Booker's a beast. Devin Booker's turning into my new favorite player. Like I think he's gonna, because he emulates some of Kobe's game. In his gameplay, his I like the way he plays. He could play on the ball, off the ball, off screens. The kid could do everything.
That's also the huge reason why they're emerging as a team.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was a little overstatement on Chris Paul joining. Him joining obviously did help elevate them, but they went 8-0 in the bubble. They got DeAndre Ayton back. DeAndre Ayton was suspended 73 games for a banned substance. So you get him back. He's a 20-10 guy. Devin Booker elevated his game. They revamped the roster a little bit. They got rid of a couple of guys who couldn't shoot. They brought more shooters in. It changed the dynamic of the team. That's why I thought they should have. That guy should have been a coach. Because last year they won like 15 games.
Yeah, sick turnaround. What's so funny? I'm looking at all this shit. I feel like I'm in like either 80s basketball or 90s basketball. Utah Jazz are in. The fucking Suns are in. Mavericks are in. The Clippers are in. These are fucking not normal teams that are normally in there. I mean, the Bucks are deep in this motherfucker right now.
Yep.
The Nets. When the fuck the Nets? Like, these are not regular teams that are in the playoffs. And I think it's cool. It's something different. It's something original. But I really, really dig the fact that the Suns are killing it. I really like this guy from the Mavericks. He's just unbelievable.
Luka.
Congratulations to him. He gets, I believe, the MVP of the season.
Jokic got it
Jokic.
from Denver.
Yeah. Then you got Denver in the mix.
Yep.
Right? Like,
I think here's a trade that if I'm Damian Lillard, I go to Denver.
For just to be with him.
Yep. Because you have him and you got Michael Porter Jr. on his way up, emerging. So you have him at the 1, Michael Porter Jr. at the 3, and then you have Jokic at the 5, and then you just get a couple of more shooters. And I think that'll be perfect.
Before we dip out and conclude around the leagues, I think it's gonna suck if Dame doesn't realize that a championship is what's gonna separate him from the rest of the pack, and it looks like at this point he wants to stay in Portland. That'll suck because he should be on a team. But for whatever reason, Portland just can't figure it out. I don't know what the issue is up there, but if teams like Utah and the Suns could turn it around, I feel like that is a huge thing to try to emulate if you're other teams and other organizations. I mean, obviously, it looked like the Suns gave you the blueprint on how to turn a team around.
Yep.
All right. I had a couple more things. We'll probably push them to next week, but let's get into Critics Corner as we start coming down to the end here. I was thinking about some of the fucking movies we've done. It's been a hard go. I feel like 2020 and 2021 should just go in the we don't make good movies department. It's been between Mortal Kombat, Wonder Woman, the sequel, Justice League, Little Things. Cherry was good, but obviously, not super dynamic. On the Water we did. Without Remorse we did. This week, I thought this movie was going to be fire. You get Guy Ritchie, and now this dude who's like my cousin, brother from another mother with the baldy thing, Jason Statham, Guy Ritchie movie, Wrath. It sounded good. It's got a homeboy's going to beat everybody up, and Guy Ritchie. And it was terrible. What were your thoughts?
I don't think it was terrible.
It was pretty fucking bad to me. But
I just thought some of the storyline was a little weird in the sense of like, all right, spoiler alert, everybody.
Here we go, spoilers.
So basically, he's like the kingpin of it, the organization. I thought it was weird how his team asked him to go to just be a lookout at a taco stand. I thought that was stupid. My initial thought was because they did a kind of a vantage point. If you guys ever seen that movie where they went to other people's point of view, and I was like, when I saw that he was taking his kid driving, I thought the kid was just gonna get shot in a driving by. I didn't think that they were gonna make the head honcho like, hey El Chapo, I need you to go be a lookout on the corner. Like that El Chapo be like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm not doing that. Like I'm the fucking boss. So I thought that was weird. I did like how they tied into it a little bit, how he went kind of undercover until he was patient to find out who the fuck was the inside guy. And I thought like them trying to figure out why is he so strange. The two guys that didn't like what he was. I thought that like they put that into the movie for no kind of reason. Like it's like they just put it there and then they went away from it. Like those, like if you were suspicious of somebody, they would kind of look into you kind of thing. I thought the Marines or the Navy SEALs or whatever, that was pretty dope. They were like, fuck it, the country fucked us over. Let's go and try to make some bread. I just thought it was a little weird. Like, I don't know if somebody doesn't sit down with them and say, listen, I don't think the kingpin should be in this situation. I think he should be tied into this a different way. Like, also like if I feel like somebody's in my circle is a little devious and is gonna like shoot me in the back, I'm not including that person into the circle. I thought those guys being Navy SEALs and being able to read the room and knowing each other, you would be like, all right, this guy might fuck us over kind of thing. Because they already had those kind of vibes when it came to Scott Eastwood, his character in the movie. But that's why I kind of saw it. I give it like a 5.5, 6. Just because
that's trash.
That's but I'm saying it was a good entertaining movie, but it wasn't a great movie in a sense of like I'm not gonna be like, yo, did you watch Wraith of Men, kind of thing. Like I put it in the categories where I would just throw it on. Like I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm like, oh, it's cool, it's entertaining. I was entertained. I could say that I was entertained with the action and the shooting and all stuff like that. I found little pockets of it, like a little like why is this in the movie? Like how are you tying this in? Why is this kind of tying it in, kind of thing? But that's just me. Wait, what's your thoughts?
All right. First of all, I get excited when any one of my favorite directors are doing stuff, whether it's Quentin Tarantino, Scorsese, my man from Batman, Christopher Nolan, and Guy Ritchie's another guy that I thought this was going to be amazing. I was super excited for it. First of all, I was going to pay for it. Okay, I'm glad I didn't, because 1999 I would have fucking cried. Okay, because I wanted to give money to the thing. Glad I didn't. I walked that back. Okay, so first things first. I don't know what happened to Jason Statham. Jason Statham, maybe it was this character, but I feel like ever since he got with Fast and Furious, all he does now is play asshole tough guy. And I know he has range. I've seen his range. I've seen him be other characters that had depth to them. So I don't know now if this is going to be the Jason Statham we're going to see in every movie. Like the badass Steven Seagal guy who never gets beat up. I mean, some of that shit he was doing, I was like, I would have shot you in the face. Right? Like he's just like punking guys who are like armorly robbing. Like, first of all, I get it. You're like an El Chapo dude, but anybody who has the balls to fucking like rob an armored car, they're not morons. And they treated these guys like morons. All right. That was one. Two, the characters just didn't seem to gel. And that's one thing for me from a Guy Ritchie kind of deal. Like, he gets some of the best characters, whether it was Two Lock, Stock, Smoking Barrels. I might have said that shit wrong. Whether it was Rock and Roller had a phenomenal cast. Whether it was King Arthur, I forget what he called that one. The one about Merlin and the sword and all that stuff. So a lot of his movies are very interesting and have a lot of layers to them and different perspectives and all this other stuff. I felt like this one was a little bit more melded in. I felt like he was always upset. The story was kind of weird. They kept, again, remember what I told you about that back shit? I don't know why we keep going to the well on that. Like, not everything has to be a dream sequence. Not everything has to be. It's like it's either dream sequence or we slow it down. Like, that's the new shit now. It either goes in like,
yep,
the movie explodes, for 5 minutes and 1 second a span, or we're going to a dream sequence. It just didn't seem original. I didn't feel like it had a soul. It really seemed weird. That guy being his friend the whole time just didn't seem real. Then they had this other dude. Nothing against Clint Eastwood, but he doesn't move the needle for me. Josh Hartnett doesn't move the needle for me. I just felt like they hired a lot of random dudes when they should have kept this more as a. I feel like if it was an English film, it would have been better.
Okay, I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like, that's his stick. He gets everybody that's English. Yeah. There was no English guys in there. There was no like what was that movie that just came out with all the dudes that the weed movie that he just did with he just did a great movie with Matthew McConaughey. I don't know why I can't think of it, but it was comedy. It was so good. They had like these rappers that were like robbers. That it was just weird, like shit like that he did. None of that there.
I thought it was weird too when he supposedly when he was supposed to do whatever stupid lookout shit he was doing. Supposedly, the other guys weren't in their vicinity. They were like they were ready, I guess, to kind of rob the thing, but they weren't. But if they were in the area in the vicinity, why didn't they see what happened either? Like, supposedly another guy couldn't move for whatever reason. He had to stay in a certain spot. Like,
I don't know. This is not a Guy Ritchie. This is not Guy Ritchie, bro.
And I'm like, what? And I'm like, all right, why is the guy supposedly who got hit by a lady? I'm like, yo, here's my insurance card. I gotta go. Like, something else is more important, clearly, because they're about to rob some shit. But you're there, and it's like, oh, your fault. And then I thought it was pretty dope on the sense of like they went and was like, he's like, I'm burning the whole city down until I fucking find out who did this shit.
I get that, but the thing is like, it's just like I don't understand. Like ever since he got with The Rock, he just fucks up everybody. That shit is like so realistic, and I get it. It's a movie, but like. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he has compassion anymore in his roles. He's just like.
I think when they be like, "Yo, here's 35 mil." Like, what do you like? What is your compassion? Like, all right, I gotta say 7 lines and I got paid 35 mil. All right, I'm good. Like, what do you what do you do? I'm saying I don't know why.
You don't see Leo do shit like that though. That's the crazy thing.
But that's right? Leo.
I get it. And maybe that's a bad comparison. But like, I don't even know what we're doing with movies anymore. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know.
I don't know why they don't have a panel of like real critics that they pay and just say,
They
hey,
do,
listen.
and they still fuck it up.
I
Because
don't know.
listen, unless your film has to do with some like terrible story, you're not getting no love. You don't get no love. Like, look at all the movies that won fucking Oscars.
True.
It was boring. Right? It's nothing. It's like hardship, terribleness. I'm like, bro, that's my life. Give me some shit that I can escape on. Right? Like, I don't want to see a movie about a vaccine. I want to see some fantasy shit that's not possible of happening. Right?
True.
I just really, to me, this is a bad, in my opinion, this is a bad, like, look on Guy Ritchie's fucking amazing resume. Again, I put down here, the score was terrible. The way it was shot was okay. I mean, I don't even know if he shot on 35 millimeter. I don't know how he shot it. I'm sure he probably shot it, on some HD shit, but it wasn't better than the last one with Matthew McConaughey and Charlie Hunnam. I forget the name of that fucking movie, but it was bomb, bro. It was so good. It was so comedy. Like, when you look at that movie and you look at this movie, I mean, he had an Asian character in it that was just absolutely fantastic. You don't really see. Why am I drawing a blank? Let me get this shit up real quick. Because it's just crazy that I'm surprised you haven't seen this movie. Just because there's so many films about him that he just kills it, and I just don't understand why in this specific one. It's just, bro, I feel like we need to start making movies, bro. This is getting terrible. The Gentleman is what it was called.
Okay.
You should see it. It's fantastic. But again, I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know.
Like, we don't get good movies. Like, nothing against my man Michael B. Jordan, but that's what we got. Navy SEALs movie. That's as creative as we could get.
It's weird, and then I don't know, man. Now
it's hard, bro.
Now you have this whole Loki shit coming out, being gender fluid. That's a whole nother weird.
What?
Yeah,
so it was gender fluid. How was that?
So, because when they go to arrest him or bring him out of the jail, they on his report, like, there's a sheet that says Loki, age, date of birth, and it says gender fluid. That's what it says on the thing.
Disney's really trying to fuck.
Some weird shit. Anyway, but this.
Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. But talk about stick to the movie. For the most part, Jason Statham maybe has 2 or 3 movies where he's like out of this element. I think Redemption is one of them, which was a dope movie. Homefront was another one that was dope. I know I'm missing one more.
What was the one with the little Asian girl in it? Because that was fire.
The one with the little Asian girl.
Yeah, that basically she was like a math genius, and he had to save her.
I think that's Redemption, isn't it?
Could be. He's got a few.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I'm saying, look, what was that movie that he was Snatch? I always think of him like that. Like, once he got into Transporter, I feel like the shit was like,
But that's
fuck up everybody.
But Transporter, it was like what put him on the fucking map, and Crank is what put him on the map.
I get it. I got you. I get all that. Then stay with movies like that, then. Right? Like,
got you.
I would totally watch Crank 3.
But again, like Guy Ritchie probably said, "Yo, here's 25 mil." Like, you're not turning down 25 mil, just to say 7 lines and fuck everybody up. Like, you're not doing that. You're gonna take that bread. Like,
I'm about to start working out or something, bro. Because damn, fucking 7 lines, 35 mil.
That's it, and walk away. Exactly. So, I just think I don't know. For whatever reason, their editing team or these editors or whatever, start doing more test screening. And if you have different outcomes in certain situations, say it. Because for whatever, it reminds me a little bit of just the video game industry. Your game testers suck. Because you stop putting out a shitty ass game. Because if you're putting out a shitty ass game, and let's say for whatever instance, if you got all these lists of concerns that the general public has, and you still put the game out anyway, but you basically just said fuck it. So who's to say that maybe, the Guy Ritchie, the pre-screening said kind of what we're talking about now, and they just said fuck it. It's pandemic. We're gonna watch it or not. So be it. It could be that too. We don't know, but for whatever reason, these guys, these a lot of movie critics or these companies putting out these movies that are just trash. It just I don't
Really
know.
bad, bro. And,
I don't know.
and for someone like you and I who grew up watching a lot of films, being excited to go into movie premieres, going to the theater, watching movies when they first came out, like that opening weekend or whatever the fuck, or standing in a line, this has just been abysmal, bro. All these movies are just.
I remember I used to watch movie trailers for hours just to see what's coming up.
Me too. Yes. Now we're just like, you know what? A lot of people talked about this a few years ago, that there's a transition happening, that the real actors are headed to TV, and like movies are kind of like being experimental. All the best
Because you could
TV shows.
because you could basically have, let's say, if you do a miniseries as an hour each, you're basically doing a 3 hour movie. Or if you do something as a 7 episode, you're doing, like basically seven individual movies that are building up. And you're probably getting paid more for it too. So, and you get more range, as we spoke about last week with Amazon and Netflix, where they're letting you kind of do your passion project kind of thing. You got, you're doing different things. So that's where I stand with that.
Well, it's sad to say. So you said 5? Fuck, I give that fucker a 3. We're gonna start ranking this shit. But I was just disappointed. I thought Statham and Richie were gonna be dynamic and a slam dunk. The Gentleman was a way better movie. Definitely much more to sink your teeth into. So it's sad that this one didn't get done. All right, did anyone stay with us to the end here? We got any comments?
We got 3 people in here. We got 5 likes. I appreciate all the love and support.
Yeah, for sure. What was some of the comments? Any
We
comments?
got Lucho in the beginning. I think he said government may be too technology advanced for us to have a chance if we decide to take over, even with automatic weapons.
Fucking drone strike, baby.
Yeah, so many on the street. Street is wild right now. Legalized 100%. When we talk about all drugs. Must have training. You can be useless in a bad situation, even with a gun. I agree.
100%.
Let me see. Steven Sanchez. He said, "What's up?"
Oh, nice. That's what's up. What's up, Kazo?
Pretzel was in here.
Oh, my man, Pretz.
Yep. Josie was in here, and Manny was in here.
Nasty. All
He
right, that's
said,
awesome.
Yeah, LBJ is a baby. He will never ever be better than Jordan. It's about winning, not just making it to the finals. You can't be GOAT when you lost more times when it mattered.
Yeah, I think just to put that one to bed. Great player. We can't call him the GOAT. That's offensive to the GOAT people.
Exactly. So end it there.
Tell them what to do, bro. We can get this show chopped up and out on the internet.
Yeah, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. And we'll see you guys next week. I appreciate all the love and support. Peace.
Thank you guys for listening to the show. Stay safe, stay healthy.